It can't be that hard, right?
But there's just not enough people that hold the notes.
Except for banks that have internal employees.
Exactly.
Okay.
Here, you can do a notice of default.
Here's the largest foreclosure firm in Colorado. Let's see. Yep, so you do,
and you got to have a trustee, a county trustee in Colorado.
Yep. But how do you, so you do the lawsuit, you give them notice, then you do the lawsuit.
It's non-judicial, it's statutory.
Do you have to have a judgment?
I think you have to have that judgment.
There's a non-judicial and there's a judicial.
The castle law.
Individual would have to do a judicial foreclosure because they don't have the, like a bank that has the mortgage that allows for non-judicial foreclosure, but you wouldn't have that unless it's in the note.
I have the IDA guy coming on, but it's a new lady. Rachel's no longer the director. Okay, she's calling me in a minute, and I have Shane on.
We'll do Shane, then we'll go back.
Yeah, so kill that one first, please.
Gosh, dang, I want one. Oh, man, why didn't it shine? Dan, come over here.
I just got to switch this over. Okay.
Yep. Oh, he's not reading. I cannot believe how hard it is to find an attorney to talk about foreclosing on someone. You guys have looked. My guests in the studio, they've looked. We've looked. We've called. It's amazing. Anybody that's listed under foreclosure, the second you say, how do you foreclose? They say, well, we just know how to defend it. I mean, really, that's what we're getting. It's insane. What happens if you hold a note? Here's what I think's going on. Who generally forecloses? Banks, because people have a mortgage. Generally, it's not an independent letter like John, who's still holding on one. And I'm going to get information for this guy. If I've got to call every attorney in the state, we might have to start calling people out of state. But it's amazing. I mean, I have called so many people during break. Suzanne has. And then the two guests we have with us have, with Larson. I mean, it's amazing. You guys are getting the same thing, right? What are they saying? They're saying, you know, we protect people getting foreclosed on. But I think the banks, they all have internal attorneys. So there, you know, there must be no money in it. The bottom line is, there must be no money in it because there's not enough people that hold mortgages. The people that hold mortgages are banks, and they have attorneys that work for them on salary. That's all I can come up with, but there still has to be someone out there that can explain to us how you do it. 303-713-8255. Now, we've got a great follow-up. Well, it's not a great follow-up yet. Hopefully this helps it. But I'm going to bring Rhonda back up. And basically, Rhonda brought her vehicle to Christian Brothers. Rhonda, they repaired it. The rear differential, did they do the front differential too, I understand?
Yes, they did.
So they did the front and rear diff. And the rear diff failed how many times from what they did?
Okay, the rear failed 3 times. The front failed once.
Okay. And how much did you pay?
I paid a total of about $7,000.
Okay.
It was like $6,800.
And I want people to kind of understand this. Prior to going to Christian Brothers, where did you have that rear differential fixed?
Sus Pontiac.
So you went to Sus, they fixed it once, it failed. They fixed it twice, it failed.
Correct.
And then you brought it to Christian Brothers. Did Sus give you all your money back? How did that work?
No, I just ate it.
You ate it? That doesn't make sense. So you're telling me it failed. Was it out of warranty?
Well, they say it was out of warranty because it was a lifted truck. And, you know, we were naive when we bought the warranty originally because we thought it was bumper to bumper.
That's right. But because it was modified, it doesn't cover it.
But we bought it modified. That's what's weird.
Did they refund you on that warranty?
They did not.
Oh, we might have a problem with Sus, too. That's kind of strange. Did you use the warranty for anything else?
I don't believe so, no.
So you bought a warranty that you haven't used at all, and the one time you went to use it, you couldn't use it because the truck was modified, and it was modified when you sold it, or bought it.
Correct. But remember, the accident they're stating that whoever repaired it the first time had not hooked up the hose correctly in the rear differential, and so...
Yeah, but that's fine, but then they fixed it and it broke.
Right. Now, they did warranty it the second time, so I only paid once.
And what did Sus say the third time?
We didn't go back for a third time.
So gosh dang, I can't believe the issues you've had with this vehicle. So then you decide, because you're done, I mean, you don't even care about the refund. You're so done, you bring it over to Christian Brothers. Christian Brothers looks at it. You explain everything to them. You explain there was an accident. You explain that Sus has attempted to fix it twice and it keeps breaking. And they tell you what at Christian Brothers?
Well, at Christian Brothers, they said that, well, I had asked if it would be better if I upgraded the gears because we had put a supercharger on the vehicle.
Okay.
They said that would be a wise decision, and I asked them if they felt comfortable in doing this, and they said they do it all the time. And so... What
did they upgrade to? You said, I think it was a 410 from what?
I want to say like a 370, and I'm...
Okay, that's fine. So they
whatever the original was.
Okay, so they upgraded to a 410, right?
Yes, and then they said that since we're doing it on the rear, we have to do it on the front.
Okay.
So that's where the $7,000 came into play, because they had to start from the front and back.
Okay, so they sell you that stuff.
Yes.
And it's going to be about $7,000.
Yes.
Okay.
And,
how long did it last? So you go, you pick it up. How long did it last?
Okay, the first time I believe it was 900 miles or 800 miles.
And it breaks.
And it breaks. And we take it back. Now, the front differential, they said that there was a part that went bad. But the rear differential, it just ate it away again.
Okay.
So
then they fix it again, correct?
And then it lasted another, like I said, 800 or 900 miles. I can't remember which one was first.
And then it breaks again.
Yes.
Now, do you do it a third time?
We do it a third time, and we take it back to them. And on the invoices, they did not change the mileage out. On my copies, they were not tracking the mileage correctly. And so it looks like the third time we brought it, it was 3,300 miles.
Well, regardless, it's still under warranty at this point, and it broke again, right?
Absolutely.
So then, okay, so now we're on the third time, literally the fifth time on this vehicle. How Sus and how Christian Brothers cannot fix this in 5 times is amazing. So then you bring it back, and what do they tell you? This is when they tell you that they're not going to fix it, it's your fault.
Correct, yeah.
So what do they say, though?
Western Drivetrain, they said that it was my axle housing that is twisted, okay? And so they said that since the axle house is twisted, that the internal gears, I have to repay to fix that to the tune of $3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah, so they want you to buy the whole axle, basically, right?
Yes.
The housing for the housing for the rear differential, along with all the gears inside again. They want you to repay for what you already paid for, plus they want you to buy a new part, right?
Yes.
Okay. And at this point, I get you. I got to get everybody, up to snuff here, though. So at this point, we have it towed, or you have it towed over to Budget A1 Transmission, where they've ripped it apart and they're going to tell us what's going on with it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so let's do this. Now I'm going to bring up Shane. Shane, what's going on? You're at Budget A1 Transmission on a referral list at referrallist.com, and you're the one that's actually tore this apart and looked at it, right, Shane?
Morning, Mark. Yes, sir.
Where is the failure? So you just heard the story. Everybody heard the story. They're saying the entire rear end, for that matter, is twisted, is the word they use. So the first thing, is it twisted?
What I have found is no. The differential housing is not twisted. The differential housing actually has plug welds that is on the pumpkin of the differential where it's welded to the axles. Usually when a differential housing is twisted or anything of that nature, those plug welds will either break or you can see damage done to them.
Yeah, you can actually look at them and tell if this thing's moved.
Correct. And as of right now, no, there is nothing there that shows that it is twisted. Measuring the differential on the frame, it is not showing that anything's out of line.
Nothing's out of line? No,
sir.
Okay. Now, second question I want to ask you before we get to why you think this has happened so many times, but I've got to ask you this. If Budget A1 did this job, and you did it 3 times, 5 times, I mean, my God, I've never seen such a cluster out there. It's insane, actually, that Sus did it twice and these guys did it 3 times, and the vehicle's still not fixed. But let's say you did it, and it came back in 900 miles, 1,000 miles, whatever, and let's say you did find out. So let's say you guys are repairing it right now, right?
Correct.
What happens if it leaves? Because people are thinking this, because I go, my God, 5 times. I trust in you guys big time. But let's just say it comes back broken 1,000 miles. Are you going to try to sell her that rear end for an additional $3,000?
No, sir.
So you would fix it anyhow?
Yes.
So when you guys fix this thing, if it comes back and it turns out that is twisted, something else is wrong with the rear diff, you guys are going to handle this 100%.
Correct.
I love that. That's what I love about Budget A1.
Shane, this is Clint. I talked to you yesterday.
Yes,
you didn't have a chance to mention to him yet what you found in the backlash.
I have not.
Because I haven't asked him yet.
Oh, okay.
My God, man. Holy smokes. Okay. Now that I know it's going to be fixed, and if it's not, it's going to be 100% covered no matter what.
Correct.
Why do you think this thing broke 5 times?
Well, from what I'm seeing,
I guess the only thing you can really tell us for a good example, the only thing you can really say is why did it fail the last time, right?
Correct.
Okay, fair enough. So why did it fail, in your opinion, the last time?
Well, when we brought it in on first inspection of pulling the rear differential cover, looking at it, you can see that there was an excessive amount of backlash in the ring gear to the pinion. What is actually specifications for that? For backlash, you're allowed from 3 thousandths to 10 thousandths. Preferred backlash is 5 to 7, is where that range should be.
And where was it?
Where it was actually 53 thousandths of backlash.
Wow.
So that's definitely an excessive amount of backlash. And then where the pinion gear rides on the ring gear, basically what you have is a heel and toe of the gear and then the root and crown. Well, the pinion was actually riding very high on the crown of the tooth, so it wasn't riding where it should.
Got it.
The other thing that we did notice, and we made video of this with the dial indicator on, we actually videoed the backlash, showing how much backlash there was, and then we also noticed that there was side-to-side play in the carrier of the differential. And also videoing that, it showed that there was 10 thousandths of side-to-side play, which means that there was no preload set up on those bearings.
So they basically installed the gear set improperly.
Correct.
Now, when you say the play, when you guys set it up, how do you get rid of that play? Is it like a shim? I'm trying to picture this.
Correct. What it is when you go and first set up that carrier for the differential, you have shims on each side of the bearing races. And so when you put that differential in, you're supposed to have a preload on those bearings. The preload is supposed to be 30 to 55 inch-pounds of preload on those bearings.
And they didn't do that?
No.
Got it.
That preload was not there at all.
So we know, can you say for a fact, or let's put it this way, because you're probably going to end up being an expert witness for us if these guys don't do the right thing at Christian Brothers. You're saying that pretty much you're positive they didn't do it correctly. I mean, here's what I'm saying. After it failed, I assume the actual gear stripped and broke?
The gear itself did not strip and break at this time.
So what happened?
You can very much see those hot spots and everything on the ring gear and pinion gear, where because of the fact that it was not set up correctly, that it got hot spots on those teeth. It wouldn't have been much longer before those teeth started breaking.
Are you 100% sure that they didn't set this thing up right?
Correct.
All right, hold on a second. We're going to come back to this. And in the meantime, I don't know if Clint or Dan one of them needs to call Christian Brothers. I know we left a message and no one called back, but we really got to call these guys because we're talking $7,000 and they want to wipe their hands of it. And then the second part is I want to talk about, if you bring your vehicle in, and I'm going to ask Shane this, if you bring your vehicle in somewhere and say, here's the problem, and here's the history of it, and they do it 3 times, how is it possibly the consumer's fault that they didn't catch the problem the first time? It's very obscure where they're coming from. I don't know if I understand their logic whatsoever. 303-713-8255. We'll be right back after these messages.
Property that's and you must close on, you know? It'll be in the note, yeah, I'll grab it when you got it.
Well, you know, I didn't appreciate him jumping in like that, so.
$143,000. And you know, what are you tonight? Oh, geez.
All right.
8 months, 10 months, I don't know. Something like that. Plus, like you say, that he didn't have insurance. They don't have insurance on it.
What's that?
That foreclosure.
What's his number? Clint.
Recommendation for a foreclosure attorney?
Here, give me his number first, though.
Okay. All right, I'll call you. Poor guy.
Shush it.
You just feeling it? Just let you know that I
303 908 2816.
Just pull up whatever.
Do you have your email? I just want to show you before I call.
Here,
I'm fine. I don't need to hear it.
He's not locked in.
Yeah, all the other accounts, so that one's yours over there. So when you talk something, do that, and then I throw it to your that one there.
I get cozy.
That's what you want, but that's is that a good for you, banner? Yeah. Just that camera there, I got the audio. That's audio, but no. And what was the video that we played? That was on shaking. I guess I might even have that. On the car, yeah. Interesting. Have you ever seen it before? It's called a death wobble. No, I don't want to either. Mm-hmm. So Mikey, the guy that does the IT guy, he went out and was filming it from behind. He says it's crazy. And actually, people were telling when he was driving it to pull over. I don't think that's it.
Well, that's the number I have.
Down, so you get right
I don't take that.
Well, that's his wife. Okay, so we got a recommendation for a foreclosure attorney, but when I Google her, this is all I could find, the state of Colorado versus her. When I try to click on the press release, it's a no good link. And I didn't know, there's nothing on it except for a 1-star.
Mark, come back up here.
So I'm like going 40 miles an hour down level path, and my bike starts. Really? I feel like put my knee against the
I'm
frame.
not going
So
to
like,
talk. There's not going to be fast. I don't know.
you didn't, I mean,
Yeah, no. I don't know what we've dealt with, Dave.
what have you right now?
Okay, would you please just end the hour with Dana so she doesn't hold
Give me
on?
some tissue so it clicks back.
Where's that?
Mark, would you please go to Dana to end this hour so she's not holding over the hour since she called in, the
Yes.
new director?
Yes.
Okay, please.
Well, my God. I just left off on this other one. That's crazy. I can't do that.
Yeah, I'll just tell her we'll call her back then. Or
Yeah, tell her we'll call her back first next hour. Shut up, Dan.
I didn't say nothing. I said nothing.
Getting over a cold. I'm not in a good mood. My God, man. Chasing all the volunteers. Shakes it off
The
loud.
hardest part is, you wouldn't even bring it back. I'm gonna have to let you go. That's critical when he's doing that. He's just, I'm busting my hump. Please tell Jerry, I never see you anymore.
What was the case he had? Oh no, I'm thinking of George on one.
Yeah, this is more critical.
The something file, the classic file.
Penske.
The Penske file.
I'll get these reports together.
So you guys are concerned about people.
The guy comes back in town and goes, it looks like you absolutely have no idea about anything about this.
I'll put in more work.
All right, 303-713-8255. I'm going to get right
Back to this, so I'm going to pull Rhonda back up, and I'm going to pull Shane with Budget A1. Shane, you there, man?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, so we understand they didn't put it back together. So continue on. I mean, you're 100% sure they did not piece this together, right?
Correct.
Now, I want to back up a little more. Why do you think it happened 5 times, though? I mean, there's people listening, they're going to say, so Sus didn't know how to do it 2 times, and then these guys didn't know how to do it 3 times. I mean, is this hard to do?
You know, to get a good pattern on a ring and pinion and preload and everything like that, it does take a lot of time. I mean, there's times that it can take up to 6-7 hours. And what it is, it's constantly removing that differential carrier, removing the pinion, changing the pinion shim, changing the side carrier shims on the differential to get that right pattern.
What do you make of a shop, either shop at this point, if they did miss something? Let's just say they missed, because this looks like an error they did, this last time at least, that recreated the problem. But let's say that pumpkin or that rear diff was actually twisted, and they didn't notice it the first time, and they did it 3 times, and it kept breaking. Then they go back to her and say, well, it's your fault because this was actually twisted. Shouldn't they have found that to begin with? I'm trying to understand their logic right now is, hey, listen, you need another part, which, okay, fair enough. Maybe you do need another part, even though these guys missed it 3 times, but they wanted to charge her not only for the new part, but they also wanted to charge her for the gear set again.
Well, see, and the way I see that is if you didn't catch that or anything, and you're saying it's good, that there's no problem there, then in all honesty, to make that right, I think they should be taking care of that.
Yeah, but even if they weren't going to take care of the new part, there's an argument, okay, they screwed up, it does need another part, it would have cost you this to begin with anyhow. So you subtract the labor, you just do the math and whatever it is. But to say they're going to charge them for the whole thing again seems crazy. But you guys are fixing it right now, right?
Correct.
All right, so what I'd really like, Deputy Clint, if you could please call these characters up. Have you talked to them yet, Clint? I don't know if he's talked to them or not over there. We're going to find out if he has.
Okay.
And that's really about it. When are you guys going to have this done?
I'm hoping to have the rear differential done hopefully maybe later today, maybe sometime tomorrow, and then we're also working on the front diff right now as we speak as well.
Okay, sounds good, man. So we're going to check back with you. Go ahead, Rhonda.
Sorry, I just wanted to point that out, is that Scott and Shane had actually found out that they messed up on the front as well.
Oh, so they didn't load that properly?
There was on inspection of the front diff, when we first looked at the front diff while it was in the vehicle, we noticed the pinion seal was leaking, which not horrible. But then we started inspecting a little further. Then we noticed that the driver's side case half of the front differential was actually broken.
So, but long story short, they screwed up on the front, too.
Correct.
So they really owe her, at this point, a full refund. Nothing they did was correct, in your opinion.
Absolutely.
And that's in my opinion, too, because I trust what you guys are saying. And the fact they did it 3 times says a lot. All right, I'm going to put both of you on hold. Suzanne, let's free those 2 up. When the vehicle's done, it'll be done, which is going to be great. Meantime, Deputy Clint's going to try to come up with something from Christian Brothers. I mean, we'll talk about it during the break, but it's just crazy. They need to give this guy a refund. We need to reach out to their corporate. I think they might be out of Texas. I'm not sure. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to Larson here. We're going to talk to John. We're going to talk to Jeff. And I've got a small follow-up for Kathleen in that Section 8. 303-713-8255. My name's Mark Major, and this is the Troubleshooter Network.
Do you have high...
Hey, babe, actually with John, let's just free him up until we find a foreclosure attorney.
Hey, Mark, thank you.
They might do some outside work.
They're not going to come on.
You probably can't work outside of it. You probably have a contract with the bank.
You know,
And then actually with Kathleen, babe, we can just tell Kathleen we're going to have that expert.
I spoke to her earlier. The camera's up. It's froze.
Colorado Foreclosure Pro nets 4 more law firms to settle for $1.1 million. It looks like all these law firms may be put out of business.
okay. I missed it. I was asking Shane yesterday, did they pull the front differential? Because they did the back one wrong. They probably did the front one wrong.
This was an all-wheel drive?
They did.
It's a four-wheel drive. And on four-wheel drive, the differential numbers are different. You have a 411 in the back and a 410 on the front. On four-wheel drive, on all-wheel drive, it's the same.
Even so, when they upgraded the back to the 410, do you think they upgraded the front as well, or the front
Yeah,
would
but
stay the
they didn't know
same?
what they were doing. They may have put a 410 on both ends. You have to have 1 point higher, which is a 410 in the front and the back.
That's interesting.
On four-wheel drive. On all-wheel drive, they match. But that pulls the front wheel. That's why you can't drive a four-wheel drive on dry pavement, because it chews the tires up. But when I talked to him yesterday, all the mistakes they made, these are all rookie mistakes on differentials.
What's weird though is Sustin. What's so weird is it was 5 times.
So, but Shane said you got to take like 6 hours to get it done correctly.
On a 10-bolt Chevy, you take the whole damn thing out and remove the shims to the other side to change it. It takes forever. On Fords, you can actually move the screw the things back and forth, but on Chevy, it takes hours. And then you have to paint the gears with special gear paint. Look what the pattern is. And it's way out of the crown, which it wasn't. That's the worst thing you can do.
Those are the big booyah for budget and stuff.
I'm pushing almost 800 horsepower through a little Chevy 10-bolt rear end of mine, and everybody said it wouldn't last. It's lasted for 40,000 miles.
I want to see this thing go, 12,000 miles.
Well, they're trying to blame. I thought the next thing they were going to blame was the supercharger. I'm pushing way more horsepower than that 10-bolt. It's not tearing mine.
What do you do with an 800 horsepower car?
Actually, I get a car. It's my little pickup. I got a little Chevy short bed. It's got a Corvette LT4 with a blower and 26 speed.
My God,
Yeah. No, it's my getting driver.
it is not, is it really?
It is. It got beat up in hail. I'll get a windshield in it this Friday, and I'll drive it in here. It's lower and has no door handles and no. Anyway, it's custom.
Yeah.
Just toy. But I'm real familiar with that differential because it took me 6 hours to do it on one. The real pain in the ass is Chevy's. On the Fords, they actually got 2 giant screws. You screw one and unscrew the other, and it moves the pinion gears in and out. Real simple to do. And you do it on the floor because the whole pumpkin comes out. On a Chevy, it's in the housing. You have to pull the axles out, take everything out, put it in there, trim it, check it, and when it's off, the backlash is off, you have to take everything back apart, pull everything back out to reshim it. Really hard to do. And I know they get lazy.
That's what it sounds like. I mean, that's what Shane said and stuff. It can take a lot to...
Yeah, they're hard to set up. And when he was talking about the axle being twisted, it is really evident on that. Oh, really? The casting in the middle has two great big holes out to the side, and the boards go into them, and they plug weld those. And if it twists, you can see that weld broken. I mean, it's right there. Oh, God, never.
Oh, you went and seen it?
No, I've seen them. Oh, we raced off road. We've torn all this stuff up over the years. The damper thing yesterday.
Yep, you're right. This says they must get, well, this is only non-judicial, though.
That's Colorado.
The foreclosing party must file proof of debt ownership and the default with the public trustee.
Overseas process.
So proof of debt ownership, so they basically have the deed and the note.
Right.
And the default. So the default would be whatever the default is in the note. And then they file it with the public trustee. I assume the trustee is going to be with the county?
Judge.
The judge?
And Tom told me all about this when we had this settled. He told me all this.
The mortgage holder must separately obtain a court order in a Rule 120. So they do have to bring them to court.
Yeah, and they have to
proceeding authorization and sale, and give the public trustee a copy of the order.
The homeowner rights secure.
30 days before recording the notice of election and demand, and at least 30 days after the first default in payments. Borrower must be served with the information about state hotline and how to contact the foreclosing party's loss mitigation department, which I guess in this case would be the guy himself. After the notice of election and demand has been recorded, 110 to 125 calendar days before the sale date, public trustee must mail a combined notice of sale, right to cure, and right to redeem to the borrower within 20 calendar days. The trustee must mail the notice again between 45 and 60 days before the sale date. Notice of Rule 120 hearing. So what is Rule 120?
The consumer protection rule that allows the person who's being foreclosed on to secure the funds to cure.
And they're supposed to be served, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you have everything is leaning toward the consumer,
yeah.
So not toward the rest.
So if people I have didn't receive a service, I mean, they were receiving letters from the mortgage company.
Yeah, you'd have to. That's hard.
If the sheriff knocks on the door and says you got 4 hours for that.
Yeah,
that was their first notice of foreclosure.
Interesting.
And they've got $120,000 equity. And this was
All right, welcome to the show, the only show that's got you solve problems, answer questions, take your complaints in studio with me. We've got the Lawson firm, Lawson Tax Relief. These guys are absolutely wonderful. Any tax questions you got, it's a good time to get them in. And really what we're talking about is when you're in trouble with the IRS. In fact, guys, when I come back, I need to take someone that's holding one of our folks with Americans with Disability and the Center for Rocky Mountain. I'm sorry, Suzanne, I can't see that one.
So she's the director of the Americans with Disability Act Center.
Yep.
It's Dana Barton on 6.
Let's do this. Let me go to Dana real quick. Hey, Dana, how are you doing today? And thank you for coming on.
Hi, Tom. I'm doing well. How are you?
It's good. It's Mark. I'm filling in for Tom today. Actually, I do the show with him, so I've got a question for you. We have Kathleen, and Kathleen called up, and her landlord, in her lease, it says you're not allowed to have any animals. It doesn't matter how well-trained they are, you're not allowed to have any animals. Kathleen said, well, my animal is a service dog, and in fact, I've got a letter from my doctor, and I want to read you what the letter says. It's very quick. It says, Kathleen Long is a patient, and I'm not going to say who the doctor is, and is being treated for anxiety. After evaluation, it is my opinion that Miss Long would benefit from the presence of a therapy dog to help her reduce her anxiety. So, does that pretty much make that dog, and this, I bet you get this question a lot, does that make that dog a service animal?
It does not.
What makes that dog a service animal technically then?
Well, the laws are a bit different under the ADA and the Fair Housing Act. And so in this instance, where the tenant is asking to have an animal within their housing unit, that's going to be a different set of laws. Under the Americans with Disabilities Act, there are 2 questions that you can ask a person who has a service animal, and the questions are, is the animal required because of a disability? And then what work or task has the animal been trained to perform? And those questions are only to be asked if the disability is not a visible disability.
So if they ask those, and let's say she answers the first one, yes, and answers the second one, yes. I mean, who are they to say no?
Well, the second answer could not be yes, but you would have to give a specific task that the animal is trained to perform.
Okay.
But again, we're dealing with the Fair Housing Act because this is a tenant in an apartment.
And what does that say?
Under that law, the landlord should provide reasonable accommodation to a person with a disability so that they have an equal opportunity in the dwelling. But an emotional support animal does not qualify as a service animal under the ADA.
Ah, so they might actually have a case for her to get rid of this dog, or a case to evict her.
Well, that would totally be a question for fair housing.
No, but according to what you just said, though, I mean, this isn't a physical issue. This is an emotional support dog. I mean, from all the information I have, really, that's what this is. And you're saying that does not file or come under this.
Well, I guess the ultimate question for me would be, is it an emotional support animal or is it a service animal?
Well,
my question would be, what is the task that the animal is performing?
And that's a very curious question. Kathleen, does that dog of yours have a task that it performs for you? And, I mean, Dana, that could be so weird, though. I mean, if it comes down, if it's anxiety, if it comes down and she pets it, isn't that the task?
Well, that would be a task that she's performing, not the animal, if she pets the dog. But if the dog were to, for example, a person with diabetes, be trained to smell the blood sugar, alert the person that their blood sugar. So is the dog alerting that there's going to be anxiety? Is there a specific task that the dog is performing?
Man, Kathleen, is there a task that dog performs?
Just that she comes up and loves me. I'm totally in my house. I've become recluse. I don't have any friends. And my anxiety was off the chain.
Yeah.
And the doctor said people live longer and said he would write something to make her a service animal. Well, he would write something to find a service animal, and then I found her a few days later.
See, that's kind of where this goes to. Kathleen, I'm going to put you back on hold. So, Dana, really the issue comes down to, and this is more for just this, you know, this is more general information, but because a doctor says you need a service animal, that does not mean any dog you go get becomes a service animal.
That's absolutely correct.
So it once again, though,
related to a disability.
Yep.
Required because of a disability, and be trained to perform a specific task.
And that's
Those are the only 2 questions, and there's no. The thing to remember is there's no certifying entity. There's no, you know, I can write in and now this dog is a service animal. You know, anyone can go online and order a vest for a dog, a service dog vest.
Yeah, of course.
Not make a dog a service dog.
Would these same rules go for a hotel? Like if a hotel has a no pet policy, it would be the exact same rules?
Right, because it's a public accommodation. So if it's a hotel that is open to the public, you cannot charge more for that service animal. So if you're going to a hotel that has a $25 pet fee, that's for a pet. A service animal is not a pet.
You know,
and so you can't charge for that.
So she's, in my opinion, she's got a problem here. We've got to try to help her through this. Maybe, I don't know. We've got to come up with something.
Fair housing is the place to go.
Fair housing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other wrinkle to this one is this is Section 8, and there's a lot of other moving pieces to it. But the other thing, a lot of people don't realize this, and they think I'm crazy when I say this, but you can actually have a small pony as an emotional, or not emotional support, but a service animal.
Yes, a miniature horse can also be a service animal.
And why is that? Why would someone do that?
Well, a miniature horse, can be trained to perform a task.
Yeah, but horses, I mean, even their bowels, they can't even hold it in, if you will, right?
It has to be housebroken, and if you can train a miniature horse to be housebroken, then it could be a service animal.
That's amazing. How many of those have you run into in your career?
Not many.
Any?
I do have an aunt up in Denver who has some miniature horses that she uses for therapy.
Dana, give out your info and explain to people why they would call your organization or call the organization.
Absolutely, thanks. We are the Rocky Mountain ADA Center, and we can be found at RockyMountainADA.org. And our number is 1-800-949-4232. And we are here to provide technical assistance, training, education, and just answer any questions like these that anyone may have, whether it's an individual with a disability, an employer, a business that has a question about their rights and responsibilities. We will help you get the right answer to implement the EDA.
All right. Hey, we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
thank you for making time for us.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
Hey, you too. And then, Kathleen, I want to go back to you. We better be real careful here because they might have a reason, if you keep that dog around, to get rid of you from that apartment.
They do say pets, but it's a house. But,
or a house. It doesn't matter.
They do say pets, not... But, okay, so I'll get her trained. I have a slow...
Okay, Kathleen, all I can do is just tell you the bad news. We really thought you were good till June because it's not a month-to-month lease like they tried to threaten you with. But on the one where they're threatening you with the dog, you do not have a service animal. An emotional support animal does not matter in your circumstance. You need a service animal, and you don't have a service animal. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just saying if they press it, and it looks like they're willing to do anything to get you out of there, it looks like, you do not have a service animal. That's just the fact of it right now.
Now, Mark?
Yes, ma'am.
We did talk to the landlord.
Oh, excellent.
She wants to come on the air, but said she needs to check with her attorney first, so maybe we'll have another update.
Did they say anything? Did they give us anything to say?
You'll have to ask Deputy Clint.
Clint? Nothing? What did they say?
Nothing, but also the lady you just had on from ADA asked her if the animal could be in training. She said yes.
Well, it can be, but I mean, if it's not trained yet, I mean, well, I don't know. All I can tell you is this landlord, I think, wants this woman out for whatever reason.
Well, I couldn't get much feel for her when I talked to her.
Why don't you are you going to get the dog in training? I mean, if you never leave, you're on a fixed budget. I mean, what does that mean you're going to get it into training?
Well, I'm going to look and see if there's any services.
What would you train the dog to do?
I have sometimes I get a really slow heartbeat and I start passing out for seconds at a time.
Okay.
And they can sense, because I have a feeling before that happens, but I don't always catch it, and the dog could catch it.
Kathleen, you're on the right trail there. If you can train that dog to do something like that, then I don't see there would be an issue here.
Right. She's going into training, I'll guarantee you.
Hopefully we hear back from your landlord. I'd be curious really why she wants to chase you off anyhow. I mean, you wrote a nice letter to her, I read, that says, you know, paraphrasing, let's work this stuff out. And I guess she never really answered you, huh?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully we can talk to her and help you out. So we'll reach back to you as soon as we talk to her again. But meantime, there's not much we can do. Get that dog into training so they can't use that against you, that you're breaking that lease.
Yes, and thank you. That's why you've helped me so much. I would just die if I had to lose her.
Yeah, I know. It sounds horrible. Okay, hold tight. 303-713-8255. We can free that up. Century RV, if you're looking for, listen to this, Class A, Class B, Class C, fifth wheels, RVs, travel trailers. They have every brand. Keystone, Forest River, Dutchman, Heartland. They've got Cougar. They've got low overhead. And my favorite part about Century RV, you ready for this? The largest inventory of used RVs in the state. If you're looking for an RV, it'd be a great time to buy too right now. They wheel and deal down there this time of year because, you know, a lot of people aren't thinking of camping right now. It's a good time to get down there. They have an indoor showroom. They have 2 locations. Ready for this? Their brand new one is right here in the metro area. It's on 6th Avenue, just west of Kipling, next to the Woodleys. And then there's one on I-25 just north of Denver at the Longmont exit. You know, basically Colorado 119. They have full service departments, and they're just great guys. But once again, if you're looking for an RV, new or used, they have the largest inventory of used ones in the state and all the new stuff. 303-453-1111. 303-453-1111. Give them a call, CenturyRV.com.
I call him Brad, and
I'm really surprised that lady didn't. How did you talk to that about anything? He's already made them. He might know. Yeah. He's got a real estate law. Okay. What would we get paid them? Are they actual service charges? They are allowed to run a service desk if they're in training. All they have to do is show a check for the first check or receipt for the first training.
So you think if they're in training, this covers them?
Yeah, she just said it was on the phone. I asked her there, but I can't believe she didn't volunteer that to you. Is it if the dogs are training? Because most of them are. But she didn't volunteer that to you at all. I'm really surprised she didn't say that. This lady could go get one training session and get the actual certification for the dog with one receipt that's in training. And you're right, a lot of people try to beat it. Sounds like this lady really needs a dog.
Oh, I think she's got definitely some.
She seems wrong.
this is the Section 8 money from yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And they probably want her out because they can get more rent from somebody than Section 8.
But that
Well, it's in a weird, where is it? It's in La Junta. I mean, it's a really depressed area. Her total is $450, man.
Yeah, what a sad story.
Yeah, and she has no friends because she's totally reclusive and she's a mess. And I got a couple of good status in bed. Well, this home advisor place sucks.
Okay, we gotta get some check stuff.
Funny, some days you get forced in here and they get handled college days.
We can get rid of, if you haven't got rid of Kathleen. Tax stuff.
Yeah, but it was end of the year.
It was November, December.
That was crazy. It was a lot of real confusing. Maybe you need to show up like April 1st. Yeah.
The problem is they don't really do.
Oh, no,
they're going to get normal tax questions, which is not the deal.
Yeah.
They do tax relief. In fact, I got to explain that better.
Yeah, I don't completely understand it.
Generally, it's when the IRS, you don't have money to pay taxes. Literally. You spent it. You spent your Uncle Sam money.
That's right. And I can see how it happened to them, send in their employee stuff and everything else when their business is in trouble. They're starting to lose money.
Get yourself an unauthorized loan from the government.
Yeah. Is that what they call it?
It's very simple. Unfortunately, the interest rates are not so good.
For a job they get, a lot of them are contractors or something, and they pay their employees and their vendors. They're in hopes that the next job I can pay the IRS.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. A lot of them
Giving themselves a little float. Unfortunately, that float is a little expensive.
It's really expensive.
It's so fast. And
fees and
yeah. And then, you know, I mean, if you're not paying your taxes, probably something's not going right. So, you're just kind of going, but sometimes, we can fix it.
I'm going to do an in-house inventory coming back.
And put AM/FM radio to work for your company. 80% of Fortune 500 companies lease their vehicles because that's the smart financial move. Hey, it's Ross Kaminsky from my friends at Alliance Leasing, who can help you save time and money and more money, and have been doing just that for Colorado businesses for more than 20 years. Alliance Leasing will get you into your fleet vehicles with all the upfit you need at the lowest delivered price. I'm a finance guy, and to me the choice of leasing with Alliance is the obvious one for your business. Learn more at alliance.lease. That's right, just type alliance.lease. Alliance Leasing, your key to the perfect fleet.
Michael Brown, afternoons 4 to 7.
It's like a variety show, news, culture, Hollywood, and food, and it's all served with a touch of sarcasm, humor, and seriousness. Join me at 4 o'clock for more Irreverent Talk Radio.
She can hear those church bells ringing, ringing.
Joan Sullivan, she's the owner of Approval Reverse Mortgage, and there's a lot of changes last year and possibly this year to reverse mortgages. I got to tell you, the bottom line is this. Joan is going to tell you whether or not it's right for you. In fact, you probably have a lot of questions on reverse mortgages, but the bottom line is, if you're over 62, you intend to live in that house or want to live in that house as long as possible, you either want a little extra cash or you want to get rid of the current mortgage payment, you can do it. And she'll tell you if you're right for it, if it's a good fit. She'll explain all the fees. She'll explain the interest. She'll explain everything. She's the real deal, and if it's not right for you or your circumstance, she'll tell you. But if you have the equity in that house and you want that extra cash, maybe you want to fly around the world, maybe you want to do whatever, give Joan Sullivan a call and just talk about it. You can reach her at 303-771-3528. And it's Joan Sullivan, 303-771-3528, or approvalreverse.com. You can always check that information out there. I want to talk to Jack Larson and Steve Sizik. Guys, Larson Tax Relief. You guys, of course you're not, you know, I'm sure you have accountants there, but generally what happens is, the bottom line is when people can't pay their taxes, they're calling you guys, because eventually the IRS will garnish your wages. They can actually levy your bank accounts. How scary is that? Do you guys, Jack, get the call generally after a lien shows up on, or they don't get their tax refund from a different year, or after they get garnished and their check is less? When do you guys actually get the phone call, generally speaking, they need help, they need tax relief?
Generally, it's after a bank levy's happened.
So they wake up one day, and there's less money in their bank account, or even worse, the entire bank account's locked.
The entire bank account would be locked.
And that's it. It doesn't matter. So they go to pay their rent, they go to pay their mortgage, they go to pay their car bill, they go to the grocery store. It's done.
Correct. And the IRS will hold it, or the bank will hold it for 21 days, allowing the taxpayer to decide to kind of appeal the bank levy.
Here's the part that blows me away. Why do they wait so long, Jack? I mean, because they've received tons of notices generally. I mean, how many times are they not notified? Or even better yet, what's the average time they're notified before that levy? I mean, just anything, like 6 months? I mean, just general. I'm not talking regulations or what they're supposed to do, but generally, don't people know it's coming, or they should?
Well, the problem with people that don't pay their taxes is a lot of times they just chuck their mail.
Oh, they literally don't look at the mail.
Yeah, and so, you know, there's a series of 5 or 6 notices that you'll get from the IRS, and they see IRS, it's scary, I don't open it, I pitch it. I mean, the IRS tells you 60, 30 days before, you know, things are going to happen, and then a lot of times, even after that 30-day period goes by, they don't get around to levying you. So usually, I mean, you're talking 6 months to a year of notices that have shown up, but that person's not responding.
They're not looking at them.
They're procrastinating. They don't want to deal with it. They push it to the side. Then guess what? You go to fill up your car with gas, and your debit card doesn't work, and you're like, why did this happen? Well, you didn't read your mail.
You know what's funny about what you said? Remember back in around 09, 10, 11, all the foreclosures? It was the same thing. It was almost deer in the headlights. They knew they weren't making the mortgage payment. They were getting notices left and right. And then they're surprised, like literally, when the sheriff's there to remove them. Like, oh my God, we had so many calls during that period of time. You know, the sale's coming up in a week, what can I do? And they're way outside the time, it's way over, and they have no money to cure the debt. It's just crazy. So really, it's the same thing. So now, if that's happening to someone right now, first of all, read your mail. You guys, it would be much better if they called you guys before the bank levy, right?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, possession's 9/10 of the law. So once that IRS gets that money, it's very difficult for me to get the money back. Not to say that I can't do it.
You can try.
But time and expense involved with getting the money back is so much further, you know, on the high end as far as what you would have to pay an attorney or an enrolled agent to deal with it for you than if you called me beforehand when you got that first notice. It's like, okay, we got 90 days, we can make a decision, you know, we can call the IRS, we can tell them to hold off on taking actions, that we're working with them, and put you in a better position just, you know, practically and intellectually.
Is there an average, and I know you guys are nationwide, but let's just take, you know, what you deal with right here. Is there an average of back taxes? In other words, most people that call you guys, are they 10,000 behind, 100,000 behind? I realize it's all over the place, but what would you say your average call is?
I would think we're, you know, average is probably 30 to 50,000.
Oh, wow. And then is the average problem they never filed and they're getting assessed the taxes? Why does it get there? They didn't pay the penalties and interest and it keeps adding up, or just a vast array of different reasons?
You know, I think it's a vast array of different reasons. Some of our clients either get shorted on vendors or for work that they had done.
They don't have
pay
the money.
them. Yeah.
How about companies with a lot of payroll tax issues? Do you guys deal with a lot of those?
Yeah, 50% of our business is payroll withholding tax.
Oh, wow. So the company gets into a cash flow problem. I mean, generally, I would think. Or they spend it on the wrong thing, whatever, but they take that trust fund money that they're holding out of their employee's check, and they don't send it over to the IRS. And next thing you know, the IRS, I mean, you owe a ton of money. And in that case, it's not, even if the corporation went bankrupt, the officers, maybe even the accountant that doesn't own it, but anybody that really knew about it could be held liable for that money personally, right?
Yeah, and that's when it gets really serious, because, you know, the IRS is basically deeming that theft and fraud. You told your employee you're going to take $50 out of his check and give it to the government. You kept it for yourself. Guess what? IRS had to refund him when he filed his return. They're not going to hold the employee, you know, accountable for something this employer did. So basically, you're stealing from the government and you're stealing from your employee. IRS is not going to look kindly upon that. Probably need to call us.
No,
like that.
And I'm going to bring up Don Eiley in a little bit here and kind of break that in, because I know you guys help some of these businesses out that he screwed over. But so people understand, when you work for someone and they take money out of your paycheck, there's two parts of it. The money they take literally out of your paycheck is generally called trust fund money. Then the company matches, or the company pays that Social Security and the other money as well. That's the company portion of it. If the company goes bankrupt, generally the company portion can be bankruptable, if you will, if that's actually a word, but the trust fund portion cannot, because that's what you were saying. I mean, you're literally, well, you're stealing from your employee. You're supposed to pay that. Now, the good news is they don't go after the employee. That generally does not happen if the company didn't pay it.
Right, employee's not going to be on the hook. I mean, they're an innocent party in that situation, unless the employee is actually the owner and he's not paying his own taxes
That's
and taking a refund.
But
otherwise,
in the case of Don Eiley, which we are the ones that brought this to everybody's attention way back when, Don Eiley was an accounting firm, so he had hundreds of people that used him for payroll. He would take the money out of the company's bank account automatically, most likely ACH, every 2 weeks, every week, whatever the payroll was. He would tell the company he forwarded the money to the IRS. The checks the employees actually would get would show the money taken out, but what he would do is send the IRS a zero, meaning he says that company has absolutely zero employees, zero liabilities, so therefore there's no penalties, or not penalties, there's no taxes due. So he would tell the company he did everything right, and he'd literally pocket the money. In fact, he just got, I want to say 15 years, but it might be 12. This guy's sitting in a Fed pen right now. And thank God he is. And by the way, there's $10 million missing. But the scary part was the employers, the people that paid Don Eiley, thought they paid their taxes. Some of them have ended up paying more. In fact, I know for a fact some have gone bankrupt because they couldn't. And on top of that, some of them have to enter into agreements, and you guys are helping with this. Why does the company owe the money? Because bottom line, I guess, it was their responsibility. They should have checked. Now, no one does, but they should have.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you know, ignorance is not a defense when it comes to filing your taxes. If you own a company, you got to keep track of the books. You can't turn everything over to a CPA and say, hey, I just don't know. You got to understand what's going on with your money. You got to verify the returns are being filed. If he's filing a return, he puts your signature on it.
Yeah.
If it's a zero, he puts your signature on it. That's your signature. He can't sign it for you. So the IRS doesn't have a whole lot of leeway for that type of thing, but we did talk about with some of these clients, we can do certain types of equitable offers, we can do certain things to help them out because
is the IRS, are they biting on the bait?
Yeah, I mean, we've got that judgment now against Don Eiley. That's
Which is a big
what
one.
we needed. We needed to prove that, yes, in fact, this was a criminal act. This wasn't just some CPA who was, you know, negligent. And then we can use that in order to, you know, front an offer to say, look, this company did everything right. let's go ahead and give you. I know he was 900,000. Why don't we settle for 50,000 because Don Eiley
Because here's what happened.
Yeah, clearly.
So they have a heart. Well,
they do. Well,
we think they do.
We're working towards
the
it.
IRS has a heart. Yeah,
Right.
the new friendlier IRS.
Yeah, right.
We'll talk about that too, and we'll talk about some other stuff. And really, what I want to dig into a little later on is if someone does owe that 30, 40, 50,000, what should they expect? What can Larson tax relief do for them? All right. Art of Granite, Mitch Floria. This guy's great. I got to tell you, I get so excited talking about him because he comes to America in 2003. The guy's only got $300 in his pocket. He doesn't speak English. He doesn't have any family here. There's no friends. He wanted to come to America and live the American dream, and he did. He lands in New York City, and he basically ends up in Colorado. He takes a bus to get out here, and he starts working for a granite fabricator, and he did it years and years. He learned the trade, and then in 2005, he decided, I'm going to open up my own place. And that's exactly what he did. He opened up Art of Granite, and the coolest part and what makes him different is he'll let you use the wholesale account that he has if you want to buy granite somewhere else. He has a ton of granite, and he'll sell it to you at wholesale. In fact, if you go to his showroom, when Suzanne and I picked out the granite, it's incredible. You look at the full slabs, not these little tiny little pictures or not these little samples. You literally look at these ginormous slabs, and he's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, and they're absolutely beautiful. You pick out the one you want. He'll sell it to you at wholesale. If you find one you want somewhere else that he doesn't have, he doesn't care. He'll let you use his wholesale account. What he specializes in is the installation, the most beautiful cabinets you ever seen, a great price, and when it's all said and done, it's artwork. The guy is the best. If you're looking for granite, you're looking for cabinets, and you get the kitchen done, he'll do the bathroom for free. 303-386-5919. If you're looking around for granite, please give him a call. In fact, you can send him pictures of your kitchen, your bathroom, and there's a good chance you email him the pictures, he can get back to you with an approximate price. I mean, he's that good. Ready? 303-386-5919, 303-386-5919. He's on our referral list, and you can check him out at artofgranite.net.
See, I just needed a few deep breaths.
That's what I said.
That's a good way to put it. I had to find my zen, Clint.
You got what?
My zen. I don't know what that is, but my wife said it, so I'll go with it. Did I just call Dan my wife? Did he say zen or did Suzanne?
I wasn't. Crazy. Hey, I had heard that the IRS auditors were having to handle the Obamacare management of Obamacare, and that there was a guy that worked at the IRS. There was a lot less auditors.
There's the only connection between Obamacare would be that payment penalty,
which is gone now.
No, there was no Obamacare thing set up of management to manage Obamacare. There's no government entity for Obamacare, and so they had the IRS guys doing it for a long time.
Correct.
Yeah, just because of the mandate on the payment.
I don't know that they were per se auditors, but the IRS was in.
Well, the guy I know that worked for the IRS was an auditor, and he said almost all the auditors out of his office had to go over to the Obamacare thing.
But wouldn't that be gone now that the mandate's gone?
Well, I believe the only connection between Obamacare and IRS collections is the mandate. Now, if they were
insurance companies,
employees from the IRS to make sure they were following the protocol.
They had to be certain plans, though. Yeah. So I wonder if what he's saying is even those, they had to make sure, you know, whatever insurance company is selling whatever plans follows those guidelines.
Yeah, they may have used IRS staff for that. I wasn't aware.
Well, I know they did because
the IRS is understaffed and underfunded, which is awesome.
Yeah, this guy's been there for a long time.
I've got to pay for. We go through the exchange, and I literally pay for insurance in case I get pregnant. That's one of my favorite things about Obamacare.
I don't think it would be I think most of the IRS, what they're focusing on is not the individuals. They're focusing on the businesses.
Maybe Compass for Gary, if you think so.
Oh, that's my
hundreds of thousands.
We got audited 7 years in a row. It's not supposed to happen. We heard that after so many years they have to.
I know. I didn't know if you whispered in my ear Zen or he said Zen. Did you say it or did he?
Hangers, but the problem is
oh, good. I said my wife said I found my Zen. Then I thought Dan said it. And I said, did I just call Dan my wife?
10-year schedule instead of a 29 you have. So because that
you're in the middle.
Appreciation.
You're our cheese. We're the bread.
So this camera was, I think I found out what was wrong.
User error and
No,
who's not behind the wheel?
We did these plugins. I loaded that camera 3 or 4 times, and this one plugin doesn't seem to
appeal it and say, hey, I've been audited 3 or 4 times.
It's working now.
It's working good.
It was always good.
Nothing's froze.
Nothing's froze, or not these cameras. I'm talking about that one.
Oh, those still froze a little.
The audio is closed. This
In
one's
2010, I ran for House of Representatives, and we got this insane 7-year audit. We're going back 7 years and looking at everything you own. And it was just a harassment thing, because every time we went down there, they wouldn't show. I mean, I would go downtown to someplace downtown, and the guy was never there. And you remember all the things that people they applied for that weren't granted for the conservative things during back then?
Right.
Yeah, well, they didn't mention if you run for office as a Republican, you get nailed on that too.
Yeah.
And
that happened at mine.
I mean, we didn't know anything. It was just there was never, you know, they threatened us and all this stuff, and we're coming, and you need to come downtown, and we come.
Yeah,
down
and hurry up.
Like 20 times.
Mm.
Oh, they missed it. You know, nobody. So we knew what was going on.
Did they act like you were in the wrong, even though nothing had been proven?
Oh yeah, but nothing came ever. They threatened to take our house and take everything and businesses. And,
I think I can get rid of them.
You know, they huffed and puffed, but they never got specific either about what we. Okay, what you know? Because I knew from rare audits it was always a specific area.
Yeah. What particular provision are you not?
So we suspected that's all it was, and that's all it turned out to be. It didn't cost us, you know, much because we didn't.
Steve, I got you back on camera.
All right.
So
I'll ask her.
Okay, I'm gonna put you. You're on right now. Ask her.
Aurora.
You're dead center.
Bizarre things happen. We had a little British guy come collect our trash for 2 years.
You know, Drew, you're not really a bad
learn
guy.
a lot about you.
Even though you're liberal,
Yeah, right.
I got to say I like you.
Really?
Yeah.
Now you just gave a big
You're
head.
pretty liberal. If you see Trump, you almost cry.
You know, when you apply,
Hillary starts salivating.
Exactly. You were depressed for like 2 weeks after the election.
It's something you don't want to ever do to your wife.
Was that, was it Biden said, you know, the best thing he ever did in politics was not run for president?
Can I say that you're hitched?
It was an experience. I wouldn't pass it up for anything, but I learned to hate both.
All right, 303-713-8255.
Dan seems a little angry today. Your attitude, I mean, it's just, Dan, I don't know what's going on over there. Can you please explain? I mean, really, come on, man, what's going on here? You haven't found your Zen. I have found...
Hey, I've Zenned it.
I have found my Zen. Hey, by the way, congratulations to Andrew. We call him Drew. Brutus, not Brutus. You know what? All of Tom's nicknames get lost. Brutus, yes. But, Andrew, you actually have a fiancé now.
It's true.
So you're getting married.
I am, yeah.
Is there a date?
Yeah, November 3rd of this year.
You're getting married this year, November 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, somebody decided to say yes to me.
That's where I was going. I find this amazing. No, congratulations. You really looking forward to it?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. We're excited.
Were you nervous? Did you, like, do the whole one-knee thing or what?
I did the one-knee thing, yeah. I wasn't nervous at all, though. The hardest part was picking out the ring. The rest was easy.
Oh, that is hard.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
You've got your wallet to think of, and then you've got her to think of.
Yeah, you want to get it right. That's something you got to get right the first time. And
did she like it?
Oh, she loves it. Yeah.
Really?
I didn't actually get to ask the question. She basically tackled me. And
oh, when you went down.
Yeah.
So he goes down on one knee, and she knew. Of course, she knows what's coming.
Yeah, she knew what was coming. Yeah.
How long you guys?
Ring out of my pocket, she'd like tackle me, and
How long you guys been together?
About 2 years, about 4 months.
Very cool. And her family likes you, I hope.
Me, yeah.
Very cool. And you like her family?
Love her family. Yeah. Her parents are awesome. Her brother's awesome. Yeah.
Rock and roll. Congratulations. I know you guys have been a very happy couple. That next stage. I got to ask you one more question though. Little Brutuses. What are we talking here?
Next year, hopefully. All
right, so you guys want kids.
Got to get on the ball, yeah.
Wow, all right. Very cool,
Not getting any younger, Mark.
No.
So some of the things, if she stands on her head, I mean, that's one way to speed it up.
Right here.
I've got all kinds of tips how to knock up women. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that. All right, 303-713-8255. Let's go to Gary. Gary, what's going on? It says you've got an issue with Geico.
Well, it's not really an issue, but we have, every year, our homeowners comes up. By the way, I've had Geico for years with my auto.
Okay.
And it seems to me that these insurance companies, for one, bill the escrow pays before the quote for the next year is even out there, and then you end up with your escrow going up before you ever even got a chance to shop it. So here's an in for you to put Compass out there, who I have used in the past, and it makes my blood boil when I call my insurance company and they seem suspicious of me. Come on.
Well,
You're supposed to be working for me.
Did Geico raise your prices again?
Yeah.
How much? What were you paying before? I'm just curious.
Oh, my wife has all those numbers. We've been married 39 years, Mark. I'm the one that told you to put your boxes in the attic, bro. Just, the thing is, these insurance companies, come on, really? I don't know how much it went up. We ended up getting it back down.
Well, why did you? Okay,
pages over to Compass and see if there's anything they can do. But I just hate it when I call somebody that's supposed to be working for me and they're suspicious of why it is. Not only just about my quote, but why would I want my mail going to my P.O. box rather than my home? You know, come on.
Well, it's none of their business, but I got to say it's a little strange that, well, it doesn't matter, because if they go up, you've already signed the deal that basically your lender basically has to be, he's always got to have insurance whether it goes up or not. So really it is up to you to shop, Gary.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the bill goes out before and gets paid before you even get a chance to shop.
Watch this, Gary. Jeremy with Compass, how are you, sir?
Hey, Mark, good. How you doing?
Hey, that's pretty normal, though. Let's say I've got, I don't know, American Family, or I've got whoever. It doesn't matter. If my homeowners goes up, how do they typically handle that with my mortgage holder?
Well, Gary's point is actually, I understand where he's coming from. So the renewal goes out basically at the same time. So, you know, if the mortgage company gets that, usually it's 30 to 45 days before the renewal, or before the renewal date, the paperwork goes out.
Yep.
And a lot of times people will get that, they don't look at it right away, or the mortgage company got it first, and obviously they have an obligation to make that payment, so they're going to do that. And the payment gets made, and then all of a sudden, you know, the insured looks at it, it went up, he's right, they're collected so much money, now it's more, that's going to create a shortage. The good news is if you switch it, you're going to get that money refunded. So you're not out that money.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So if Gary right now, Gary, if you went out and shopped, and I know you were just trying to make more of a broader point, but if you go out and shop and you've already paid, you know, for the year, or your mortgage company's already paid and they're escrowing you, you would still get all that money back, and it would go to the new lower price with the new company you chose. And then you would get the escrow applied at the end.
And this happened with Compass, was this exact scenario happened. It took us 6 months to get our money back, and in the meantime, we paid cash for that next year because we changed. So all I'm saying is it's a big game, and what we've learned and what we're going to do from now on, because ours is due in March, in January,
you're going to shop.
Just call them for a quote.
Cool.
Because they can't give you a quote until like 2 days before they send the bill. It's a big scam.
Yeah, I get
you. It takes away from your opportunity to shop.
I understand what you're saying, Gary, or you got to wait a long time to get the refund. I appreciate you calling in. Hey, Jeremy. Jeremy. You there? Yeah. I got to ask you something. Sure. He just made me think of something. When I got my, I think it was the auto policy with you guys, the discount for paying the year in advance was massive. I don't even remember. I want to say, well, what is Progressive? I have Progressive, and I paid the whole thing in advance. Is it 20%?
Every company is different. Progressive is notorious for it's higher with Progressive than most.
Well, whatever it was massive. So if someone has a homeowner's policy and a mortgage and they want to take advantage of that, how do they possibly do that with an escrow?
Most companies will give you the pay in full discount with the escrow because the mortgage company is paying it in full.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because they're paying it, they pass it on to you.
Right.
I guess they'd have to.
One company that doesn't give that discount, which I think is a little weird, but most companies...
Which one doesn't?
Auto owners.
That's weird.
Yeah,
okay.
And there's logic behind it that's kind of confusing, so I do understand.
Yeah, they want to keep the money.
Well, and the issue is, and thing to understand too with the paying it early, you know, obviously there's a sweet spot, and that sweet spot's going to be different for everyone.
Yep.
But if a mortgage company is getting the check out early, that's better than late when the policy gets canceled. And we get that complaint from people all the time. It's like, hey, my mortgage company got this 6 weeks ago, and they still haven't paid it. And that now we're contacting them like, hey, you know, your insurance is going to cancel. It hasn't gotten paid. So I think there's a bit of that too. I mean, there's probably a 1 week sweet spot that it's ideal to get paid, but I would want my mortgage company paying that early.
I would too.
To ensure that I have coverage. You could get the money.
Well, not only that, I think the mortgage company would want to ensure there's coverage just for their collateral.
Exactly. And
so,
then really what it comes, they don't care about that. What they care about is the collateral.
That's
they want to make sure their $400,000 is properly insured.
Listen, I appreciate that, and anybody out there, the one thing that Compass does, and they do it better than ever, is you send over your declaration pages for auto, for home, and for business. I mean, if you own a shop, you own anything like that, I stressed this last week, people in business have no idea if they're spending too much on insurance. You might have bought a garage keeper's policy 3-4 years ago and you've stuck with it. You might have bought your workman's, or not workman's comp, what does Pinnacle do? That is workman's comp, isn't it? Yeah. Your workman's comp could be way overpriced as well. But Jeremy, I appreciate that. Folks, if you own a business, if you own a car, which is everywhere, if you own a house, check up on your insurance company. They bring these prices up and you don't even realize it. Call Compass. Everything's for free. They'll check it out. 303-996-9000, Compass Insurance. Thanks again, Jeremy. 303-996-9000. And I want to tell you about Aurora Orthodontics in TMJ. Dr. Kent Lawson. I wish to God we got our kids, Adeline. You know, actually, Miles, they both had braces. I forgot.
They sure did.
Man, we spent so much on braces and keeping braces on them, and kids hate braces, and you have the retainer after the braces. So you go in, you pay the dentist for like ever, and then you still pay again for the retainer. So you pay a monthly fee forever, then you got to do the retainer, and it goes and goes and goes and goes. In fact, one of them, after the retainer, had to go back and get braces again, which cost me even more money. But forget about how it looks, what it costs. What Dr. Kent Lawson has done is incredible. If you get your kids to him at a young enough age, he can use a device that will actually straighten their palate so they don't need traditional braces when they get older. They simply don't need it. Imagine that. You get rid of that bill, and you don't have to have braces, and you don't have to argue with the kids, oh, I want Invisalign, I don't want people to see the metal, whatever. You save the money, and your kids don't have to go through that. Dr. Kent Lawson is basically the best guy out there. You've got to call him up, bring your kids. He pioneered this treatment, and he also does advanced adult orthodontic treatment. He can create a full smile. He's got more than 30 years experience, but he can do this without surgery, pretty much at any age. You know, traditional treatments, you have to go through surgery. He can do things that'll blow you away. His name is Dr. Kent Lawson. He's in studio with us, I'd say about every 6 or 8 weeks. He's a great guy, but if you have kids, you got to get them down there and you've got to talk to them. They're at Hamden in Chambers near I-225 and Parker Road. The phone number, call them right now, schedule a free appointment, go down there, bring the kids, or go down there yourselves. Once again, more than 30-year experience. They do Invisalign if you want to go that route, or if your kids can't go through the first part, but 303-690-0100. 303-690-0100, 303-690-0100. Get your kids down there.
Small issue. I don't know if it's a big deal to you. He said the speakers are deeper than the OE ones. He said so they're going to have to modify the door panels so the new speakers don't hit the glass. He wanted to be sure that was okay. He's showing me pictures of the speakers.
Just ask him, is it going to cause any issue or not?
He says he thinks it's doable. We have to modify each door panel to fit these speakers.
All right. Whatever he thinks. Sushi place.
Yeah, I said, oh, Mark will love talking to you.
I
After
hate
your
sushi.
Shanahan's incident.
King of the...
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. She just said that. It drives me crazy.
we went to Shanahan's for Troubleshooter dinner, Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
And it was $15 in beers for his tab. And they, you gave them a $5 tip or whatever, and they rounded it up to a $30 tip. You charge like $46 for 2 beers.
I get
that's a roundup.
and I would have never noticed it. This is the scary part. I would have never noticed it, except for Capital One sends me an email going, "Oh, you look very generous. I think we need you to look at
I get
this."
that on my phone too.
And I'm thinking, well, that's cool. So I look at it and I'm like,
"What's generous?" Two in there.
I don't know what they did because I called up, they couldn't produce it. So I just, Capital One's easy. Dispute.
I'm not doing it. Shanahan's will just take the hit.
But I don't think it's like the management over there. I think what happens is either they got busy or something, and they fat fingers typing it in, or it was a waiter that was trying to take advantage, or a waitress.
Mm-hmm.
But they make enough money over there. I mean, that's something I would expect at Applebee's. There's waitresses at Del Frisco's that, they're pulled down 100. So, and they don't pay. They don't, well, actually, no one pays cash at Del's.
No.
But you might get occasional.
Yeah, that all gets put under W-2.
The Sopranos pay cash, but other than that, everybody puts it on a card. And you're right, everything would be W-2'd. I wonder if you guys will notice any difference in business because of not just the tax reform. Going to a postcard for most people is pretty amazing, but also because of how the IRS is directed to go after people. I don't know how that works. Doesn't each administration, or is the IRS that separate?
I think that the administration can choose what they want to do. Did you hear what some states are thinking of doing, like in New Jersey, California, and New York, to make, because they can't write off more than $10,000? They're saying they're going to try to put it under charity. Now, I don't know how that works, but I just read an article.
Well, wouldn't that be something we are now giving our tax? It's not taxes, it's
charity.
Well, if it's charity,
Clint, you have a hearing aid.
That's right.
What would happen if I didn't pay?
Tinnitus, anything?
Good point.
No, I'm sure the state would come back and
Unfortunately,
say,
no,
that's just not. You can't, under the code, do that.
Right. Well, it makes no. I'm sure they're just throwing stuff out. This is what we're going to do to keep this from
It didn't work.
Stuff,
whenever you have oral medications, it does
absorb.
absorb.
That's not big a thing, right?
Sometimes it does great.
Otherwise, everybody you're getting subsidized.
I had the best night of sleep I've had in a while last night.
Man, my legs ached all night.
Yeah, it's just amazing how angry
Chris
people
Kelly
are.
doesn't even need to have another job.
I got a reverse service dog.
50 grand and
Whenever I got something wrong on cross insurance, he lays on my damn legs. I don't know
He
if
did?
you
he told me to, man. He told me like months ago.
My orange cat will
Never
come
did.
wake me up in the middle of the night. It drives me nuts.
I think you go down to.
You got a big orange, huh?
Just like
Yeah,
that.
you know what's funny about orange cats? Almost everyone's fat.
Yeah, I've never seen. I was gonna say I've never seen a little one.
He bought it at 15 cents. It
Must
just
be something in the genes with the color.
We bought this other crypto, not
yeah,
Bitcoin.
different, not Bitcoin, a different one. It's called Bitcoin.
I've never seen a little orange cat either. They're always just besides fat.
If he told me, like, whatever.
All right, Dr. Patty, Dr. Lisa, you know who they are. They're over at Colorado Tinnitus
and Hearing Centers. These guys, if you have any issue with tinnitus or just need a hearing aid, I love their process. Check it out. You go in there, you get the hearing test. Then they're going to talk to you about different instruments. They're going to dispense the hearing instrument that's best meets your needs. In fact, these new ones are crazy. They go Bluetooth to your phone and they do all this cool stuff. So if you have older ones, you have to go check out some of the new stuff. Then you'll come back in, you'll get some counseling, they'll talk about the service, and if they need to, they'll put you in a different set to make sure it's right for you. They want the best outcome possible, and if you have tinnitus and you've dealt with it and you haven't had anybody help you with your tinnitus in a while, they have this new thing that can actually, well, they don't want me using the word cure, but some of the people we've heard from, they simply don't get the ringing in the ears anymore, so I call it a cure, but that's me. But anyhow, if you've had tinnitus, you've had it treated, but you still have problems, you want to call them. Some of the new technology is unbelievable. You can reach them at 303-534-0163. They're very personable people. They're very good at what they do. Dr. Patty and Dr. Lisa and the gang down there at Colorado Tinnitus and Hearing Center. You can also check them out at helpforringing.com. That's helpforringing.com. Eric's got a kudos for Larson. Eric, what did Larson help you with? Larson Tax Relief.
Yeah, so I went through an audit here a couple of years ago, and I actually called Larson twice for advice on dealing with it, and in both instances, the person I talked to explained to me what I needed to do or told me where to find the paperwork so I could handle it myself.
Oh, wow.
And it turned out great. The first call was dealing with the appeals process.
So in other words, they gave you free advice. You didn't even end up hiring them.
Well, and when I talked to them
quickly
a year earlier about hiring them, the amount I owed, they said really wasn't kind of worth their time.
Wow. Okay, everybody hold on. We're going to have a lot more. We're going to talk to Larson Tax more. By the way, Larson Tax Relief, 844-LARSON Tax, 844-LARSON Tax. We'll be right back.
This is not an offering to sell a franchise. Franchise offerings are made through the franchise disclosure document.
It sounded like you guys gave him advice and he never had to pay you, and I think basically that's what he finished at.
Yeah. Jack, you want this number? That's fine. Okay.
Derek, hang tight. I can't wait to hear your story, man. You know, we brought this kid. I'm looking at this hearing and tinnitus center. One of the other things they do is deal with people that have a hatred of sound. It's called misophonia. But we had this neighbor kid that went to a birthday party with my kid, and we brought him to, I want to say we went to see Titanic. It wasn't when Titanic first came out, of course, but they brought it back and they did it, what are those real big screens called? IMAX.
The IMAX.
So we went to the IMAX down by Dave & Buster's for a second viewing or whatever it's called, the Titanic. Oh my God, this kid was so freaked out when the sound came on. I mean, he hated loud noise. It was crazy. They ended up, I think my wife ended up bringing him next door, and wow, the whole movie.
ADD kids and autistic kids can't take noises or a lot of noise.
Yeah, some of them bad.
Yeah, one of my granddaughters that way.
We had a neighbor that way. He grew out of it. He's probably 20 years old now, but when he was a little teeny kid, man, he'd go like this.
One of my granddaughters was terrible about autistic. She memorized The Lion King.
Oh, wow.
She'd sit in the car and say all the parts to it. She'd watch it over and over and over and over.
I've done that with Dumb and Dumber.
I was really
take mine.
Almost every Seinfeld episode.
She would step in the snow and it'd be cold and she'd freeze up, not move.
That is a great line. Here, you can wear my extra gloves.
The Rockies, man. Is that the scene on the mini bike?
Yeah. I'd hang on to that one. That one's for the Lamborghini. It's an IOU for $100,000.
That's a good one.
That is funny. Then they kill one of the last two snow owls that lives with a cord. They give that guy the hot pepper. Gotcha! No. Then they had a rap lesson. You've never watched Dumb and Dumber? Oh my God!
Oh man,
classic. It's like Christmas Vacation.
Classic of a classic.
Did they have a follow-up movie too?
Yeah.
They've had a couple, but none of them are even
like the original.
Not even close.
It's kind of fart humor, but
it's good. Yeah, I mean it's very base, very base. They did a good job with it.
Some of the stuff is like you just big gulps, huh? Hey guys, big gulps. Later.
Jesus, I can't remember. Did you just watch it last night? How do you remember that
much?
Oh
man, those quotes are awesome.
Just when I thought
Seabass over there is going to catch our dumbest
thing ever. You redeem yourself. He trades the van for a
mini bike.
A mini bike.
Driving over Independence Path.
Oh, really? That thing wouldn't go up I-70 at any point. 50 horsepower with 2 grown men on it? No way. It wasn't even 50 horsepower. It was a little
lawnmower engine.
So I got a 3 horsepower lawnmower engine.
You ladies are in luck.
You drove us halfway across the United States in the wrong direction. How about the gas man? How did he know I had gas?
The one I could watch over and over is the Blues Brothers.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Do you remember the name of the pet store they wanted to open? We Got Worms.
For Dumb and Dumber?
I'm driving a limo now, but me and my buddy want to open up a pet store. We Got Worms. Hey, Daff.
Do I need to kick some ass in here?
Sure, sit down. Sit down, kick ass.
Oh. Just get used to Mark. Just get used to it.
I'm back.
We're all passionate.
Yes.
Hugs after you.
Mark,
What?
you know I love you.
Shut up, Daff.
She's got many things to get back on.
I got it.
Stewardess Daff. You're no longer Deputy Daff, you're Stewardess Daff.
Oh, man.
In fact, you're just stewardess.
I think I know foreclosure. These HOAs and stuff, they gotta have attorneys, and I'm gonna go to my HOA and see it, because I'm sure the HOAs don't hire them.
Right.
You know, they gotta be consulting.
I don't have them up. I'm going to do, I'll do Lacera. I didn't see Centeno showing some of my paper.
Dan, do you find sometimes when you call these places, they don't call you back to find out the check was issued that day?
Absolutely.
That they just take care of it and don't want to...
Right. What is it goes, that's the best thing you can do is, you know, hope everybody goes away. Ignore.
Yeah, well, I think they get the call and they realize that they're wrong. And they want to hurry up and get that check out so that if we harass them again, they can say we did it.
Oh, I think most of them just, if I ignore them.
Home Advisor, have you dealt with them? Dan?
What's there to
I
deal
never
with?
call them, I mean.
They will not call you back.
Well, right, Home Advisor's not a good.
They absolutely suck.
Right.
They're billing these guys for leads. The guy's a tile guy. He gets leads for windows.
We've had a guy on that before, too.
Yeah, I've got one here. He got all these leads for stuff that he didn't have anything to do with, and they're still charging for him. Now it's in collections.
Who's that?
We've had one like that.
What is it, Clint?
Home Advisor.
Home Advisor, how they get charged and stuff.
Oh, they're charging the business.
Right.
Yeah, they're charging a guy for leads that don't have anything to do. He's a tile guy. He gets leads for windows and carpeting and all, and woodwork.
But he probably called.
Huh?
You know, they sent it to him.
Yeah, and then he can't get them off the thing, and these guys got $829 for things. They won't take them off. I called them 10 times. They have a public relations officer that will not, lady.
I don't remember him being on the show.
No, but we had someone like that.
Mike Cowles a long time ago. It's back December 12th.
What, has this guy been on?
Yeah.
He's been on the show.
He called in, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can't get anywhere with them. They won't, and then their collections thing won't talk to me.
That could be an outright scam. Home Advisor could just do that.
We used to come in like it 03. Why is it 06 again?
Martino on 630 KHOW.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down.
Welcome to the show, the only show of its kind. We're here to solve problems, answer questions, take your complaints. We're taking all tax questions today as well. If you found yourself with the IRS breathing down your neck, you're getting notices from them. We've got some experts in from Larson Tax Relief, Jack Larson himself and Steve Sizik. And I got to tell you, these guys are great. So any questions you have there, we do have one line open, 303-713-8255. But I do want to mention this real quick. If you got in any trouble in the past couple weeks, you know, we had Christmas, and you had Christmas parties, and then you had New Year's and New Year's parties. If you found yourself with a DUI or getting a ticket for, say, driving with marijuana or whatever the ticket would be, once again, a DUI, I want you to give Joseph A. Lazara a call. Do not try to do it yourself. If you got in trouble or if you get in any trouble, and it's any crime, it doesn't matter if it's shoplifting up to murder, manslaughter, DUI, even DUI felony, if you're on your third or fourth, you need representation. Now, Joe doesn't want you drinking and driving, but he knows if you do get in trouble, he can help you out. And here's what I mean by that, too. Joe has got connections, and I mean that. There's nothing wrong with that. The people in all the courtrooms know him. He knows the judges. He knows the DAs. He's been around forever. He has got a rapport with them. If you get in trouble, Joseph A. Lazara, and the reason I'm stressing this right now is the last 2 weeks, all the Christmas parties, everything. If you did get in trouble and you've got that first court date coming up, I'm telling you, get an attorney. They don't cost $1 million zillion. Joseph A. Lazara is very reasonable. He'll talk to you for free about the case. You can reach him at 303-429-6200. Joseph A. Lazara, 303-429-6200. Write it down so you have it. 303-713-8255. I'm dying to hear about this sushi place, but April has been holding forever. April, how can I help you?
Hi. Calling regarding my husband's job, and he's right here, too, if anybody needs to speak to him.
Okay, go ahead.
He was fired because somebody had clipped some surveillance cameras that they had on the property.
Oh, wow.
And they had said that they believe that Edgar was the one that had done it, but he has a family to raise, and he's been working there for 5 years. And
why would anybody clip him, though? Like they were going to steal something, so they clipped him? Was anything missing?
Trash company. It's just dump. It's the trash trucks come in and dump the trash. Like, what is there to steal? I mean, there's probably mechanic stuff and stuff too. But
okay, regardless, did they
came up missing?
April, did they call the police, or that has nothing to do with this?
No.
So they didn't write up the police.
No, nothing.
Okay, perfect. So what's your question? He got fired. He didn't do it. They can fire him for any reason.
Yeah, also wrongful termination, but I mean, they also had...
I don't think it... Well, hold on. One thing at a time. I'm not so sure you have wrongful termination. I mean, unless if they said, we're firing you because you did cut this. I mean, even if they just thought it... Basically, we're an at-will state. They can fire him for pretty much anything. So I don't see that happening, but what else?
They had... When he first started, they kept a check, and then 3 years ago, out of the blue, last year, 3 years after he worked there, out of the blue, they kept another check because they wanted to hold 2 but didn't when he started, so we went 2 weeks without a check. So that's 2 that they held, plus the last check for the last week and a half that he had worked.
So they owe you money?
Received any of those, yes.
Oh.
We have not received any of those yet.
Well, okay. I mean, what do they say when you talk to them?
They don't know who did it, so how did they state it? They don't know who did it, so they're waiting.
Well, you should have had that in almost 99% of the cases within 24 hours. And honestly, a lot of people don't know this. If the accounting department is right there on site, wherever he was terminated, they're supposed to have it done within 6 hours. But this is a problem. What's the company's name?
Auto Logistics.
And that's a trash company? Auto Logistics.
They
How big
fill
are
up the dump trucks from like Waste Management. All the trash companies take the trash to their area, and then they fill semis and take it up to the dump.
So are they based in Colorado?
Yes.
Okay, and they're a big company?
They're a very big company.
I can't imagine.
Those gray semis all over the place that say OTTO on the side.
I can't imagine why they're not paying them. Are they going to tell us, and we're going to call up for you, we're going to have Deputy Clint call up, but are they going to tell us, like, he owes us money, so therefore he doesn't get a last check? Or are they simply saying, we don't know why you haven't got your check yet?
No, they have no reason other than we don't know who did it, so we're keeping money until we figure it out.
We're going to help you big time, and we're going to probably get this thing cut real quick, but I got to ask you something, April.
Yes.
Why are you talking for Edgar? How come he didn't talk? I'm curious.
He's really, really distraught about it, and I mean, I have health conditions, so I can't work as much as he can, so we don't have our rent and stuff, so he's really, really upset.
I understand. Okay, so let's do this. Deputy Clint, what do you make of this? Before you call up, I mean, the bottom line is 24 hours, they should have had it. Now, granted, maybe if they did it on a Friday and it was after hours, you know, they might be able to get away with Monday, but this is worse than that. How many weeks has it been?
2.5 weeks.
This isn't good, sir.
Okay, I'll call him now.
Just basically threaten them with the Department of Labor and Employment.
Yeah, Labor and Wage Board is really pretty serious about what they can do.
Oh, big time. Have you called Colorado Department of Labor and Employment yet?
Yes, they said that it's 6 to 8 weeks that they're backed up right now.
Oh, they're backed up. All right, let's call over to this company. And I bet we have resolution to this a lot quicker than you think. Hold on. Suzanne, grab April's information. We can free up that line, but let's get this guy his check. This sucks. You know, and if you do the math here, before Christmas, when they could have used those checks, they didn't have it. So sometimes when these big companies do stuff like that, it really, really sucks. All right, 303-713-8255. Double charged on sushi. First of all, Derek, shame. Shame for eating sushi. I do. Why would you eat raw fish? Please. Parasites? You like parasites?
No, I just like the flavor.
My God, my wife likes sushi. Tom likes sushi. Do you, Steve, do you like sushi with Larson Tax Relief?
Love sushi.
Jack Larson?
Love it.
My God. Am I the only one that doesn't like raw fish and parasites? Drew, do you like sushi?
I hate sushi.
Sushi is gross. It looks gross, it tastes gross, and it's cold. Daphne, you like sushi? She loves sushi. This is Clint. Do you like it? That's what I'm saying. See, me and Deputy Clint got a lot in common. And I got to tell you, though, it's wild. But anyhow, this double charge, what happened?
So we went in on New Year's Eve. We placed a takeout order, and they said our order was ready. I was with my two brothers, and we turned around and we grabbed our bags. Nothing was really marked. And when we got back, we noticed that there was a couple soups, like some miso soup, and there was a sashimi platter in there.
That you didn't order?
Yeah.
So really what you're saying is they didn't double charge you, you stole somebody's food.
That's exactly what they're saying, yeah.
So did they decide to charge you like they, I don't understand how they double charged you, though.
Well, so we got charged the initial $85, and then I saw there was an additional charge for like 40-something.
How did they get your credit card number the second time is what I'm trying to figure out.
So I've worked in the food industry, and if you don't close out a tab, I'm pretty sure you could just transfer that check over.
Oh, okay. So basically they added to the first one. Or did you have two different charges?
Yeah, I had two charges. It was two separate charges.
I don't know how they did that, but regardless, however they did it, they did it. So you called them up, and they said what?
Because I didn't know that we had an extra order. I knew that, I thought maybe they...
yeah, but you just said you opened it up, and you had blah, blah, and Kung Pao, and whatever.
Yeah, miso, right. So I checked my account today, and I saw the two charges. So I called the restaurant. A manager called me back, and she was fuming.
She was fuming.
Said, I'm fuming. She called me a thief.
Here's what I do. I dispute it. What did you actually sign there? You signed for the $85, right?
Right.
So just dispute it. What kind of credit card did you use?
Just a normal check card, a debit card.
Yeah, but you didn't put in your PIN number. You used it as a credit card.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Just dispute it. Call your bank, dispute it. Say, I did not do this. I authorized $85. They charged me this much. And then they should credit it back. I just went through this.
Okay.
Don't mess around with the restaurant. Who cares what the restaurant says? Now, if you actually took the guan guan gaga and wanted to steal it, that's one thing. You do owe the money. But if they, like, handed you the bags and something screwed up like that, who cares? Did you eat it?
Yes, we did.
Well, okay, maybe you should pay it then.
Hey, Tom, I don't mind paying the $35, but when I called in, it was more her attitude and demeanor saying that I was allowed American.
What was the name of this? What's the name of this fish place?
Sushi North.
Sushi North.
In Thornton. Yeah, in Thornton.
Would you eat sushi from a gas station?
No.
Okay. Roller sushi. Like right next to the hot dog, so we've got... There could be all kinds of good stuff there. Really, it's up to you. There's no doubt in my mind, Derek, if you want to contest that charge, if you sign for $85, there's there. You know, and if they call up the cops and say, this guy stole our stuff, there's going to be no case there. You're going to say, we left, they gave us too much stuff. I mean, if you want to do what's right, you know, do what's right. Pay it. You know, if I ate it, I'd pay it. If I didn't eat it, I'd dispute it. That's how I'd handle it, but you said you ate it.
Tom, that's not the big thing here. When I called in, she yelled at me and my wife and calling us American thief.
American
That was my big thing. Yeah,
Sushi
American
North.
thief.
American thief. You American thief. You no good. You steal my wong, 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 wong.
Geraldo.
All right. The reason we play that Geraldo is he's calling me Tom, which at this point I'm just used to. Honestly, if you notice, I don't even correct people, but he's playing Geraldo because one time this lady called up and through like 10 consecutive minutes and numerous times called Tom Geraldo, and I wouldn't let Tom correct him. I kept looking at him. Don't correct her. This is great. This is going to be great for social media. All right, here's who I want to talk about real quick. Then we're going to come back, and I promise Jason's got a tax question. Linda, Derek, and whoever's on line one. We'll get to all those. I promise. Centennial Schultz, stem cells are Oh, wait a minute. We've got Brent Ivinson with us? Brent, how are you, sir?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I am doing great, man. I tell you why I do want to talk to you. All the credit card debt that people have right now is absolutely unbelievable from Christmas. So, here's what I was thinking, and tell me if this makes sense. Let's say you're in a 30-year mortgage, and you want to change it to a custom term, but you want to take a little cash out to pay the high-interest credit cards. Is that even possible? So you want to pay your mortgage off early, and at the same time you want a little cash out so you're not paying 18, 29% on these credit cards.
Well, for sure, and it's the best way to do it, because what ends up happening by putting it into your mortgage, you turn that interest calculation into a simple interest calculation rather than a daily compounded interest calculation, and it saves you a huge amount of money. We, time and time again, are saving people well over $1,000. So what we can show them how to do is take a portion of that savings, go to a shorter-term home loan. So you still want to put money in your bank account because, again, you're looking at trying to save money. That's what got you into the credit card deal to begin with, is lack of savings. So let's build that up. But let's pay your house off more quickly and save you 6 figures in payments and interest on your mortgage. And let's save you money every month and eliminate that credit card debt. And the great thing is, with our custom term mortgage, if you're somebody that is looking at retirement and you say, I need to all this stuff paid for, in 12 years, we can do it.
Man, that's amazing. And a lot of people don't realize, and we've talked about this before, but if you take a 30-year mortgage, let's put the credit card debt aside real quick. You take a 30-year mortgage that you're, let's say, 5 years into, and you're going to pay that off in another 25 years, and you convert that into even a 15-year product, if not a 10-year product. Let's say you got a raise. You know, the economy right now, let's say you work for AT&T, and because of the tax cuts, you're getting a raise and you got the bonus, so you can spend a little more towards your mortgage at the end of each month, and you want to pay your house off quicker and build more equity, sure. But you save hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the part most people don't get.
No, they don't. And here's the thing. I get this question all the time. What's the smartest thing I can do as it relates to my home loan? It's really pretty simple. Pay it off as fast as possible. And going to a shorter term loan is not going to double your payment. It's incremental because the interest rates are so much lower. But it is the single best way to financially get ahead, is to pay your house off more quickly.
I love this guy. Folks out there, listen, Brent Ivinson and the gang at Ideal Home Loans, they'll give you the straight skinny. They'll tell you how to get that house paid off. They'll tell you how to deal with credit card interest. They'll tell you whatever you want to know. They're great people. They're the best out there. Get your Ideal Home Loan, 303-867-7000, 303-867-7000. They're on our referral list, but I suggest you call right now, 303-867-7000, and talk to Brent.
Heating and Air Conditioning Traffic Center.
For the most part, the highway...
Hey, the new tax law. You know, I heard that because I tried to pay my...
I wonder if I could we get engineering to install a little call button like in an airline? So if I want something, I can hit the button, and then like Daphne could have a beeper?
Unless it's actually been assessed.
Okay.
So you gotta have a bill.
And you can't do it.
That's what I'm hearing is that you have to assess. And if you had a mortgage,
right.
Someone won't allow you to do it.
If you have through escrow, if it's escrow on it, right. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I did it before the end of the year, so you're saying I probably should try to take it off?
Yeah, I would give it to your CPA and say, hey, what do you think?
Did you pay your property taxes?
I did early.
I don't think it's going to matter.
If you
can still go up to 10,000.
Right, and if you don't itemize, probably not going to make a difference.
Well, next year I don't think I will be able to itemize because they're doing the double. You know,
correct, because you're doubling.
Right.
So, and then the other thing is if you have alternative minimum tax, which is just a.
I said I wish I still had my flight attendant report.
House 1245. Jack it up. If you pay.
I've got Pro Auto, I gotta do Genesis, and then Centeno.
Yeah,
I said I wish I still had my flight attendant uniform, but then I said I wish I could still fit into my flight attendant uniform.
Yeah, do you still have it for real?
I did not. I already lost it in the fire.
Did it on
But my maternity one would still
Thursday,
fit.
but it didn't hit my bank account until the 2nd.
Show up.
I wonder if it.
I do have a
but
flight
I got the
attendant
receipt that day from the.
It's called constructive receipt on their side, so they had it, you know, but it was paid, it just hadn't transferred in the bank account.
Yeah, you know, I'm taking it to the bank, whatever you say.
Yeah. Call your CPA.
But I do know a lot of people are, I'm sure, try to do that because it's a huge thing. Because a lot of people think, I mean, next year I don't know.
Well, yeah, it won't matter next year.
I can't believe you guys eat sushi.
I eat
You enjoy
fake,
raw chicken
fake
too?
Sushi. I do the fake stuff.
What's fake sushi? It's cooked.
Crab, the cooked crab, yeah.
Cooked crab,
Like a California roll.
If it's cooked, that's
crab
one.
flavored cod.
Yeah, exactly. But for eating sushi, you just like wasabi.
About
right? If you didn't have wasabi, would you eat it?
No. Or soy sauce, I wouldn't eat either one. If I didn't have those two, probably wouldn't eat it.
Right.
I just like
You still could it?
I agree with
Parasites and fish. How about mixed sushi? Huh?
Who, Mick?
Yeah, McDonald's sushi.
Oh.
Say it again.
I never eat these spicy tuna.
What'd you do? What'd you say though? Centeno?
It is old. They grind it up and put a bunch of seasoning on it.
So they cover it up?
So it doesn't taste
fishy.
So I'll never eat a spicy piece of tuna.
But they do say
no spicy tuna, just regular tuna slices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even grind.
But they do say that's the most, as far as parasites that people get, it's from sushi.
Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's people that do it very fresh and everything, but there's also people, I mean, look how many places make sushi now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's
literally off the boat.
Right.
There was this really good sushi place in Syracuse, New York, where I went to law school. And
let's not even do intro music. I'll just go in right after this.
My wife would not come with me because it was like sanitation issues, but it was like these dudes knew what they were doing.
Oh, right.
It was so good. I was like, I can't take it. I'm not going to Chili's, you know.
Is it the texture you like, or you actually like the flavor?
I like the flavor, yeah.
All right, you have heard us. All right, you have heard us talk about stem cell
therapy. And we've done extensive research on it. And I'll tell you, it's led us to Centeno Schultz. And they've got a clinic right here in Colorado. Listen to this. They're internationally recognized for their work with stem cells. And here's the part I love. They're all MDs. Yeah, they're all real doctors. And I'm not gonna get into the negatives of other companies out there, but I got to tell you, you want real doctors, real MDs actually doing this procedure. And if you go to any of these places that ship in stem cells, you're not getting live stem cells. Simple as that. Simple, simple, simple. What Centeno Schultz does is they harvest your own stem cells. Then they use their lab right there to prepare it. Then they use this guided needle technology to put it into the area that hurts, whether it's your hips, your back, your shoulders, your hands. They can repair most ACL tears with a needle instead of surgery. So if you're waiting for maybe that knee surgery or hip surgery or something and you don't want to go through the recovery time, this might be the answer to you. But give them a call, see if it's right for you. But they're the real deal. They're not they're not chiropractors running out of some back room or anything like that. This is a real facility with real doctors doing the real deal. And once again, if you don't want to go under into surgery for something, this might be the best phone call you can ever make. So before you have any surgery, consult Centeno Schultz, 303-963-9201, 303-963-9201. These guys, once again, are internationally recognized for their work with stem cells. It's the real deal. All right, Jason's got a tax question in studio with us. Is Larson Tax Relief. These guys are great. In fact, I want to ask you a quick question before we go to it. IRS sends you a notice. Hey, your 2014 taxes weren't paid. You haven't paid this. You haven't paid that. When do people usually get that first notice from the IRS? How long after the taxes either aren't paid or the penalties and interest aren't paid?
IRS is usually behind about a year to 2 years.
So it takes a while.
Yeah.
So the first notice that comes up is, oh, boo, in 1916, that'd be a little long.
Yeah.
But in 2016, 2015, you still owe this amount of taxes. And even though you might have thought you paid them, they have assessed penalties and interest, right?
That's right. They won't tell you. You didn't pay in 14. You got 2 years of interest to accrue before they even let you know.
Yeah, you might have owed $1,000, and now it's what?
Now it's at $4,500, and it's penalties and interest.
And
growing. What the heck happened? I didn't even know I owed. And then you got to call up. There are ways you can get those penalties removed if you haven't had problems in the past.
But that's what you're good at.
Absolutely.
Isn't there a one-time, weren't you telling me last time you were in, Steve, or maybe it was Jack Larson, that you can ask for a one-time, like, get-out-of-jail-free card?
Yeah, I think someone called in and he hadn't had problems before. It was one of these type of situations. He wasn't aware of it. If you had 3 years prior compliance, didn't have any issues, no late payments, nothing like that, you can literally call the IRS and say, hey, look, this is a one-time thing. Can I go ahead and get an abatement on that? And they will actually remove the interest and the penalties for that one period.
Is that by statute?
Statutory.
So how does that work with, say, payroll taxes? Same thing, or is that different?
Same thing. Yeah, you can have a 941.
One-time abatement.
One-time abatement for that one period. And you have to have been perfect compliance 3 years before that.
So you can actually do it more than once, long as you're complied for 3 years.
3 years. So you can have, let's say you have fourth quarter of 15,
That's amazing.
15, and now you got 18. You got 3 year periods in between. You can get those both abated.
That's absolutely amazing. I mean, these are the kind of things these guys deal with. And I've heard cases literally from you. Now, I don't want to, some of these TV commercials and radio commercials you hear are like, I owed the IRS, $496,000, and they settled for $4. Well, here's the reality, and tell me if I'm wrong. If they have the money to pay, you might be able to get rid of the interest, and you might be able to get rid of the penalties, but the actual tax, if you have the ability to pay, is very hard to get rid of.
Yeah, that's the key. Is somebody sitting there with a $700,000 property with a bunch of equity and a good job.
They're going to get their momo.
Yeah, that's not the guy that's getting his quote unquote pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, exactly. So they make it sound unreasonable. The one thing you could help with big time, once again, is the penalties, the interest, if they have assets, saving the house, getting the levy not ever put on in the first place, but coming up with an actual plan they can pay. You can go there and say, okay, this guy owes you $60,000, but he only makes this per month. He doesn't want his stuff levied. He doesn't want you foreclosing on the house. So here's what he can do. And you can work with them and figure out how much they can pay each month and enter into an agreement.
And we talked about, kind of jokingly the IRS being reasonable. Well, they're not necessarily reasonable, but they understand that they can't squeeze blood from a turnip.
Yeah.
If you don't have the money, you don't have the money.
Yep.
It's our job to prove to the IRS, yeah, this guy doesn't have, a gold bar sitting under his bed with a ton of cash. He's got X amount of dollars to sustain his living. This is how much he could pay you. If it's $50, it's $50, and that's what we prove, and that's necessarily what you'll pay, and you'll be in compliance, and they won't take your money out of your bank account.
Jason, what's your tax question, sir?
Yes, I was injured on the job a little while back, and of course for 4 months I was on workman's comp, couldn't work. Now, of course that was 66 and 2/3% of my income or whatever for those months or whatever.
Yeah.
And so now what I want to know is when I do my taxes this year, I have my year to date. Does that workman's comp money go towards my year to date, or do I pay taxes on that money?
Go ahead, Steve.
That's income to you. Anytime that you've got, that's compensation that you, even though you didn't earn it from working, you necessarily, received it, and therefore that would go into your, your gross income for the year.
The money they paid out for medical bills on your behalf wouldn't be. I mean, but that's not going to be your issue. That's not compensation, but that's basically your salary, man, or your hourly.
Payment. So I got to collect paperwork from them saying what they paid me in total and add that to.
Oh, I assure you they'll send it to you.
Yeah, there'll be a form that'll have that on there, the exact amount on there, and you should get that in the next pretty soon here, next month or so.
All right, well, see, that was my easy question. I didn't tell her that I had two questions, but I got another question that it's related, but it's not a tax question.
What is it?
All right, well, of course, for that 4 months I couldn't work. 66 and 2/3% is what they're paying me, and I was getting my checks regularly.
What's the question, Jason?
Pretty easy standard stuff. Well, what happened was I went in and one paycheck was like dramatically low, right?
Hold on one second. Hold on. I got to take a break at this point. I mean, please put all those words together in the form of a question, and I'll answer it when we get back. Rocky's Auto, 63rd and Federal. I got to tell you about Rocky's. You ready for this? They've got the product, price, and process down. Let's talk about product. You ready? Largest selection of clean late model used cars, trucks, vans, SUVs in Colorado. These guys have got everything. If you're looking for a Corvette, they probably have one. If you're looking for a new minivan because you got another kid on the way or you just need more room for what you have going, they probably have 10 of them down there. If you need an SUV, if you just need a sedan, let's say you want a little Honda Accord, let's say you want a little Civic, Toyota Corolla, they probably have them. They're at 63rd and Federal, their inventory's great, and they'll give you great trade-in values. If you do need a bigger vehicle, don't go to some place that's only going to give you pennies on the dollar for your trade. They give you a good deal when it comes to trade-in. They have 40 lenders to choose from. If you have great credit, they're going to match you up with someone that'll give you a great interest rate, the best going on out there. If you have bad credit, they're going to match you up with the best they possibly can for your financial situation. Carfax with every car, you're going to know what you're buying. These are great, great people down there. I can't explain it any more than this. Put them on the list. And what I mean is, if you're looking for a used car, shop on Colfax, shop everywhere, but make sure you check out Rockies because you're probably going to end up buying down there. 63rd and Federal, RockiesAutos.com, 303-426-4646, 63rd and Federal. Put them on the list. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 8.
From the Fox Business Network on Wall Street, all the major averages are moving higher in afternoon trading with the Dow.
I think this year we're 12% up on the Dow.
How much?
10 to 12%.
Possibly. So,
right sectors, energy. I think oil might make a bounce this year.
Oh, it's up over $1 today.
Oh wow, I didn't even see that. Yeah. It could be $80 a barrel by the end of the year. I know that's crazy, but it could be.
Gas is going to make a move.
What were you saying though?
Oh, Ross has got a thing out there. He'll buy lunch if you're the closest person that for the S&P 500 for December 20th of this year.
December 20th.
Yeah. So
why did he say December 20th?
Right before the end of the year. I don't know where he picked that from, but who's ever the closest to what the S&P is going to end up at that time.
Well, here's the problem. You gotta predict what's going to happen with Congress.
Right. With what do you mean Congress?
You got to predict are they going to hold the House?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's big. You're right. But it's basically just a contest.
Are you sure? When is that? Of this month? Wow, that's new. Wow. You think that's iHeart nationwide, or that's just this? I guess that's cool. I'll take it. We're off Martin Luther King. It's never happened before.
Wow.
I don't even know when it is.
But not in February, right? February 20th, I think.
I think it's this month, isn't it?
Oh yeah, January 12th, I think. Yeah.
Is it really?
It's like coming up, man.
I think you're right. Let's see.
Wow, we gold take out crap.
You're right. January 15th.
So we get President's Day too? No?
You're off for Martin Luther?
Government holidays for me are...
It's a Monday, right? Is it always a Monday?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
No, a whole lot going on.
It's a floater. I'll tell you what was weird. It was last year where Easter was like the first week. Something was weird with Easter last week.
I think it was late last year. It's early this year.
Super late.
Yeah,
right. It was super late. Right. But you think it's on a Sunday this year?
What?
Easter. So good. When's Easter? When's Easter? Well, I think it's on a Sunday this year.
Did we get through to anybody at the Christian Brothers?
I talked to him yesterday and talked to him for quite a while, but I want to forward that video to them.
Are they willing? I'm going to have you update that.
Okay.
Who'd you talk to? Was it a local or what?
You know, oh yeah, I did have this page with me. Talked to Sean.
All right, I'm going to bring you up on that in a minute or two.
Okay.
What do you make of the whole thing, though, Clint? You think they're going to do anything without us just pushing it?
They might. They seem pretty reasonable. They admitted that they did it wrong first time.
First 3 times.
Well, The third time, they didn't actually do the work. They sent it out when they were having trouble because the place they sent it out to said that they had the backlash set up wrong. And then they did the same damn thing.
Oh, they did. The place they sent out to said the same thing. Was that Mark saying?
Yeah, the place they sent it out to told them that they had the backlash set wrong. And
so this other company did it the third time?
Yeah.
I can't wait for Mark to fix it.
Yep.
I'm almost afraid it's going to break again. I hope they're checking every possibility in the world.
They're a real pain in the ass.
3 places, 5 times. It's insane.
I had read so much before I did mine. It took me 6 hours. That you got to paint the gears. You got to see a pattern in them. They're hard to do. They're real hard to do. The 10-volt Chevys are probably the hardest one there is to do. And if they didn't get it right, it'll tear it up.
In the beginning, there was Mark Szymanski and Genesis. Yes, if you need anything done on your house, Genesis Total Exteriors, you name it. On the inside, they'll redo your kitchen and baths and basements. He does large and small additions, improvements of all kinds to the interior. On the exterior, he does everything. In fact, he's got these cool solar windows now that cost about the same as a normal, decent window. Siding, gutters, painting, fences, decks. They do it all. These are great guys. Mark Szymanski's the owner. Genesis Total Exteriors. If you need any work done on your house, any upgrades, 303-679-8509. 303-679-8509. You can find them on a referral list. Just search Genesis. I'm going to take Jim real quick, then I'll go back to Jason with the question he's trying to phrase for me. Jim has a comment on auto logistics. We had one of their ex-employees call in, say, hey, they fired me a few weeks ago and I still haven't got my check. What's your comment, Jim?
Well, let's put it this way. I've been in the trucking business for 40 years, and I don't have no bone with these people. Don't know nobody that works for them, but I can tell you this much: I'm on job boards for drivers. Where drivers make comments about companies and stuff.
Sure.
And let me tell you something. Auto Logistics has got a horrible reputation with its employees and paying their employees on time and paying them when they get fired.
That sucks. You know what?
They really do.
It sounds horrible, and what people need to do is contact the Department of Labor. I mean, generally when we reach out, they get the check in a few days because we're making noise on them. But I'm glad to hear that. So what you're seeing on this, this bulletin board is a ton of complaints, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They got a horrible reputation amongst drivers.
Wild, man.
I mean, if I was this guy, I'd go down to the labor board and hopefully he's got his hours documented. Because if he don't have his hours documented, I don't know how he's gonna prove that they owe him any money on some other hours.
I appreciate that, Jim. Hey, side question: do you eat sushi?
Do I eat sushi?
Yeah.
No. I'll tell you exactly. One of the reasons why I would never touch sushi, especially in today's age.
Yeah.
Our seas are so polluted with mercury.
That's right.
That, you know what I'm saying?
I can't think of a reason to eat sushi. I can think of 9 million reasons not to.
I wouldn't either, man.
Jim, I appreciate it. Now let's see if, Jason, do you have your words in order to ask a question, sir?
Yes, sorry, I was just trying to outline this.
No, that's all right, but ask the question, then I'll ask relative information. I'll ask my relatives' information.
All right, well, workman's comp, I actually lost a finger, right?
Got it.
And
which sucks is because in the workman's comp, what sucks, though, is in the workman's comp system, your finger's worth like X, and it's not worth crap, honestly, but keep going.
Yeah, and so there's a monetary value tied to that. Well, I got an email from them saying after the report, this is what your monetary value of that finger is worth.
Yeah, how much was it? I'm curious. Like $8? How much is it? Seriously.
No, it was like $4,900.
Think about that. You lose your finger at work, it's $4,900. I swear to God, if they parted you out in the workman's comp system, literally like a car, if you went out and bought every piece to make a car, that car would cost you 50 times, 100 times more than buying the car. Workman's comp's almost opposite. If you cut every limb off one by one and turned them in, you'd get like $9. It's crazy, but anyhow, so you got your $4,900. What else?
No. See, that's the question. Is I did not get that $4,900.
Why?
I got an email saying this is what I'm going to get, And then when I
a limb, not just a finger, but if you lose a limb, it's not worth that much. I mean, it's crazy. Hold on a second. Hold on. So, Suzanne, please give Jason a couple numbers of some of our workman's comp attorneys on referralist.com, and let's have them call up. What would do? She's going to give you a couple numbers. Call them up. Talk to them.
All
whichever
right.
one you like, go with. But you've got to just do it, man.
Situation. And,
all right.
you know, as a,
John, hold on. I got to take this break. I'll come back to you after this, okay? But I'm going to give you some food for thought. Really I'll put it bluntly. Are you looking for us to give you a car? Do you need help with rent? I mean, honestly, just ask the question when we come back. Meantime, Al Aramis, what are you doing, man?
We're bringing in this new year, man. It is busy. Holy cow.
I got to tell you, I was thinking of you a few days ago. I did a special. I think you were out of town, but I did a special, and I think I might have done it way too cheap, so I hope you're not upset with me.
Gave away the farm, and the phone blew up, and they go, "Hey, Al, what special are you running on Martino?"
I know.
Nobody had any idea. But you know what we said was that it's Mark doing it, so don't worry about it. Don't even get upset. Don't worry, be happy.
Well, I appreciate that. So what's going on today at Pro Auto?
You know, everything. And we've been servicing cars now. This is my 26th year in business.
And your kid's over there with you too, man.
Yeah, man. I've been here for a while. I've been with you guys for a long time. So we take care of just hundreds of people. And we make sure we do it right. We do it ethically. We do it the correct way. We hire the best people. So I want to give people an opportunity to come in. The thing you need the most of is an oil change. That's why we run those specials all the time. Gives you a chance to come in the door.
Got to have an oil change.
New cars are now using the zero-way, full synthetic. Let me just tell you, if the car says synthetic, you have to run synthetic.
You have to, or else you can ruin it.
Absolutely. Your clearances have changed so much on these direct injected motors. So come talk to me about it. I'll tell you more, but I'm also going to give you a deal. Full synthetic, I'm going to do it for $49.95 up to 5 quarts of any of the oils. Okay?
Full synthetic.
Full synthetic. Of the stuff I got in stock, I'm not going to put exotic oils in your car, but I'm going to put what I have here, which is the Kendall with the titanium.
You sell it. It's great stuff.
Yeah, and I'm going to rotate your tires. I'll do that on the full synthetic.
How much?
$49.95. And then
whoa! How much?
$49.95.
Oh my God! I'm looking here because I saw that up. I looked at 2 of your competitors. I got to tell you something. $49.95 for full synthetic is absolutely unbelievable. Most of them I see, including the real big boy, $79. So that's way saving, and that doesn't include the rotative tires.
And the full inspection.
Plus, you top off all the fluids. You know, windshield washer fluid now is like $3.
Yep, we'll fill it. If you're empty, we'll fill it.
That's incredible. Now, how about if they don't need full synthetic?
They can go for the conventional. Let's go $24.95. That's with a tire rotation, and that's synthetic blend, which is high quality.
Yeah, it's the best.
Let me tell you why we use what we use and why is it better.
Why? Go ahead. Why?
Yeah, because the titanium is the big deal. It's the additive package that goes in.
Yep.
It extends the life and prevents oxidation. That's why motors will fail from sludge buildup because the quality of the oil.
So what he's saying is my dad was in the oil business forever. I mean, oil is pretty much somewhat all the same. But when a company goes to a refinery and says, hey, we want this, they have the additive package, and that's what's added to the oil, and that's basically what Al's talking about. But I got to tell you, Al, this is an unbelievable deal. $49.95 for full synthetic. Includes a tire rotation, top off all the fluids, do an inspection, and $24.95 for the synthetic blend. You've got to call these guys up, make an appointment. I want to ask them one more thing. I know Drew's going to yell at me, but Al, how long, if they set an appointment, does an oil change generally take with you guys?
I give them about 45 minutes.
I love it! 45 minutes. If you've ever just showed up at a place that can take hours and hours, call 303-PRO-AUTO right now. Say the Martino Special, 303-PRO-AUTO, or you can check them out at 303proauto.com.
From the L&L Heating and Air Conditioning.
Al sounded beat up. You might want to check on him sometime, you know? But he's probably...
Hey, are you there? Al.
No, he's probably
I'm bringing 2 cars to him.
Doesn't sound like him. I'm sure, you know, with his wife and the kidney stones, he's just beating the hell.
Where are they at?
Oh, yeah.
Where's Pro Auto at?
There's 2 places. One,
You know where,
Yale.
what's the, Raplo Community College?
Yeah, that one's not very close to me.
Right down here off of Yale.
Okay. It's not very close to me either. I'm southwest.
Tell them to open a new location.
I'm surprised you don't change your oil.
You know, I can't hardly do it. I
Oh,
can't do it for
hey,
this.
babe. Can we get Linda and John
Yes.
to come on tomorrow?
Go to Walmart, you get 5
What is
quarts.
Linda?
Line them up at 10 o'clock.
Problem with daughter's car. Tell
Well,
them
you know
what-
the other
oh,
one.
dear.
Tell them we only, I mean, John, first of all, he's going to have a long
O'Reilly?
story.
Yeah, he is.
Their
Line
house brand-
4 is a hoot.
their
He's not
house
only used
brand
Larson,
says
he
O'Reilly
says
on
they're
it.
getting around, get right, use them
Question,
again.
the car was
And then he was
0
talking about
W30,
Integra, and
and I
he's like,
called.
man, I'm glad.
Oh, they
I
do.
think
They-
she might have
for
got that
zero,
same
but that's
insurance
for
you and I
special
got
class.
for
It's a real
catastrophic
tight
Yeah,
or
haul.
something.
yeah, but O'Reilly
Anyway,
had it.
he's just
And
a
I called to
hoot.
double check with the, because it had an 800 number, and anyway, big oil company.
How come you were in such a bad mood today?
Oh, I heard all night.
I'm kidding.
No, I wasn't in that mood tonight.
We're going to have a little hug session, you guys.
We're going to have a kumbaya moment.
Us three will sing kumbaya.
I didn't. I had no sleep last night at all.
I slept so good.
I just.
No, serious.
All last week I slept like shit.
Anyway, it's
There's Mobile One, which is like the best.
mobile. That's who answers the phone. Mobile One answers the phone when you call.
Oh,
on
you're
the-
probably, you're right, it is. It's probably
Call
also
who?
O'Reilly.
When you call O'Reilly on their brand oil, their house brand oil,
probably
their
right.
800 number, and,
Yeah.
and mobile answers the phone. They say it's Mobile One, just packaged in their stuff.
You sure?
And it's half the price. It's half. You can buy the Mobile
You
One.
can get Mobile One at Walmart, it's 5 quarts, $24.
That's cheap.
Oh, that's about
$5
Well,
a quart.
That's not that much. I think it's 21 for the house brand, but it's the same stuff.
The Kendall's really good though, man. That Kendall's like, I think they're about $3 a quart right now.
They've actually put titanium in it? Holy shit.
Yeah.
I don't know where that. Hey, the one. Oh, I see if she answers me back.
It's so tiny amount though.
What's that?
It's a very small amount.
Sure, sure.
It's
I
the whole
don't
additive.
know what it does though. I mean, what does titanium do? I mean,
It's like graphite.
really?
I called that trucking company, and I got a cell thing back from them. We're going to pick up his checks. Thank you so much. It's amazing. You saved our home, our car, everything. Thank
Which
you.
one was that?
Thank you. The one I just called, that auto logistics. Yeah.
Oh, they're going to send the check?
Yeah, I left them a message because they were out to lunch, and apparently.
Oh, they just got the call?
Yeah, instead of calling me back, they called them back and said, "Come get the check."
Good, let's do that update.
Okay. I said, "Our single call."
Guys, what do you want me to hit the
Do
last
right.
thing with you before I give the number out? Just, call for free help, call
Yeah,
to see
call,
what.
call for help, if we don't, and if we can't help them, we'll send them to somebody that can,
Okay.
We've got a referral list.
Do you ever point them to what do the IRS have, the
Tax advocate.
advocates?
Yeah, yeah, people that don't know that much, and or don't have the money to pay for someone to represent them. It's like, all right, well, we're not going to hang up the phone. Here's some advice. Good luck.
I love when we have great updates. Deputy Clint, get on there. You just received a text. They called up, I think it was Auto, and this guy got fired, and he hadn't received his last check for weeks. What happened?
I called up and actually just left a message for him about what it was about, and apparently they called these people back and said, "Come get your checks."
So they're ready to give the
Yeah,
checks.
they were going to lose their house. They said their house, their car, and everything.
I got to tell you, anytime we have called at least a legitimate company, I mean a real company, there's been times where people are getting paid under the table and this contractor didn't pay me, whatever, that's different. But any times it's a bigger company and they're messing around with the paychecks and we get involved, it's usually a matter of 24 hours. This one might set a record. Good job, sir. Good job. I mean, my God, what's it been, an hour? I mean, that might be a record, Clint. I mean, seriously.
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. So Suzanne took a couple. We're going to pick up with that guy in the morning. That's having an issue. His car got stolen. We just don't have enough time. John, I'm going to try to help you out. And then on top of that, let me get to David real quick. David, you've got kudos from my guys in studio, so I need to go to you. Yes.
Larson Law Firm did mine about 3 years ago. In fact, I did a little commercial for him on Michael Brown's show, and it's getting right around where they're going to be contacting me again. It's unbelievable. I'm just telling you. You can shop anybody you want, but there is no way you're going to find anybody better than them. And I didn't even know if they were on your referral list then, but I'm glad you got them now.
Oh, yeah, they've been on the referral list for a while, and I appreciate that shout-out to them. You guys, people get the notice from the IRS they owe money before the levies are put on. before they close your bank account, basically, or put a halt on it, before they start putting a tax lien on your house, before they do anything, they call you guys. And when they first call you up, if anybody's even thinking about it, let me tell you, you don't call up and they say, hey, give me your credit card number so we can talk to you. They'll talk to you, they'll give you the best advice, and more importantly, they're going to tell you what they can do for you. And if the best advice you can get is, hey, you should get an IRS advocate first and then come back to us, you'll tell them that. If the best thing is, well, you know, this isn't something we do, you'll tell them that. But generally speaking, these guys can save you a lot of money if you owe the IRS a lot of money. And if you don't have the ability to pay, and that's a big key to this, Steve, if they don't have the ability to pay, there is times you get rid of the entire debt if it's uncollectible.
Yeah, it's a major thing. The IRS is they're just a collections agency. So they're going to try to scare you. You call them up, they're going to tell you sometimes misinformation, sometimes information that's half true, try to scare you to show up with a check.
Yep.
Now, my own dad, when I remember when I was 8, drove down to an IRS office with a $30,000 check once because some agent that he called said that they needed it by, in 24 hours.
Terrified.
That's not true. Call us. We'll figure it out for you. We'll save you a ton of heartache, save you a ton of time on hold, and we'll get it done for you.
And not just that. I mean, they can help you with tax payment plans. They can help you with everything. 844-LARSON-TAX. 844-LARSON-TAX. If you have the IRS notices, and this is from me right here, if you've been getting them and you're throwing them in the trash, you don't want to look at them because you're afraid of them, the worst thing you can do is do that. You need to call these guys when you first get them. Don't wake up one day and your bank account is literally untouchable and you can't pull money out to pay the mortgage, the car bills, any auto pays you got going through. The IRS is unlike any other entity out there. They can basically do what they want. I mean, honestly, they pretty much can. I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah, if you're not responding to them, they have carte blanche to come in and take all your stuff. I mean, they'll show up with a dump truck.
When people call, I mean, basically, you guys start talking for them, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they have to operate under the code. Now the code's changing a little bit, and everybody knows about that, and that's different. But the collection side, they have regulations, they have rules. If you call them, and if you're working with them, and if you're producing the documentation that you need to produce in order to prove what you can pay, then they're not going to come in and take your items, take your assets, take your wages.
I'll give you one. How about relief from joint and several liability? How about if you're married and they're coming after you after a divorce, and they say, well, it doesn't matter, you were married at the time. These are one of the things you guys can deal with.
There are things called innocent spouse, injured spouse, various forms you can file. A lot of times there's a lot of intricacies with that, and that's why you hire someone like that.
There's tax court. There's all kinds of things you can do, but it starts with that initial phone call. If you're getting the IRS calling you, 844-LARSON-TAX. 844-LARSON-TAX. Jack Larson, I appreciate you in today. Steve, great seeing you again. I tell you what, folks, we've got a ton of stuff going on. We're going to have highlights tomorrow. We're going to have updates. We're going to do what we do best, solve problems, answer questions.
I'm Dave Marley, president of Marley Drug. Are you taking...
My iPhone 8 is 2 weeks old. I have a case saver, a screensaver, and the screen is chipped and cracked, and I have never dropped the damn phone.
You know what, though? I bet it's just that screensaver that's cracked.
I've got more of those, but see the crack across it?
But you don't think that's the screensaver? You think it's the actual phone?
I think that's the screen. I've got 4-pack of those things.
I think it's the actual screen. Or the actual
glass is pretty tough.
I'll find out.
It's Gorilla Glass, I think. Is that an 8?
It's an 8. And
I don't know if it's
old.
Liquid.
I've never broken a screen in my life.
Really? There's a liquid screensaver.
That's cool.
I mean, I put it on
and that's it?
Hey, bankruptcy.
It comes like glass.
Wow. I thought you can't bankrupt out of taxes, I understand. But
depends on the taxes. So the trust taxes, you can't. Like we were talking about civil penalties, things like that. But if you have 1040 taxes that are 3 years or older, you can be paid out of those.
Okay. And I was also wondering, I mean, they said they can't squeeze blood out of a turnip if you're bankrupt. How are they going to collect from you anyway? I mean,
a lot of times they're not. You just put it with.
Well, you get a job, they'll garnish you.
Right. Well, yeah.
Moving forward, they're looking at now and 10 years from now. So you can say, so if someone just came out of BK, I'll put them in what's called a non-collectible status. Like, look, you don't have to pay for a year, but in a year they're going to want to take a look and see if you're making money, you won the lottery, or whatever the issue is. So IRS isn't worried about, they're going to be there forever. Yeah. So they'll just sit tight.
They'll wait you out.
Yeah, they'll wait you out. Yeah. I always tell my clients, don't make yourself
willingly underemployed. Have a flat tax. You think